thinking maybe I should thank you. Maybe I should buy you another round. 'Cause you can, I swear that I'm here, but I'm there. It's getting harder to hunt me down. And get away when it ain't really safe and it don't seem right. Yeah, what's new? You get used to the bullshit and screws they go missing. It's likely they might be, but you need to stay in line. You damn well are a great design. You, despite being an only child, you say you need more of a family rap. Let's turn these jeans into hand-me-downs. Down, 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 down. We're going to mess with that a little bit. I got a new bullet chest peak while I was at work. I played in the locker room on my breaks, and I messed it up because it's stupid to do that because one locker slams and the game's over. You can't focus, and every second counts. But I got it back, sitting in the parking garage like a weirdo. Someone's going to report me. But either way, after going back down slightly below 2,000, I am 2078, which is my new peak. All right. I want to get 2100. I'm probably going to resume blitz once I get to 2100 in bullet. If I get to 2200 in blitz, which won't be immediate, I might try 2200 in bullet, but I'm not touching rapid until 2026. Also, I got my over the board rating, which is all that really matters, back over 1500. I was tired last weekend, so I only played one round, but I played well. So yeah, my actual ability's got to be closer to 1600. And as you're seeing with speed chess, because I mostly played longer time controls or rapid, which is a longer online time control, I learned. I'm figuring it out pretty quick. And over the board, it's going to be the same thing. Just getting back into it. I'm a 1600 player already, even not studying openings. I get fooled by some openings I haven't seen, but I play well enough to where I'm never beat. You fix that, I'm 1700. Play a little more, sleep a little better. I'm 1800. This is what I tell myself. 1506. 44 away from my peak. I shouldn't have taken that break. Live and learn. I can't look at the computer. It's 2 screens. It's just a lot. I'm debating on playing 2 minutes, but they don't have a 2-minute setting. It's 2 minutes with a 1 second increment. I'm not used to that or online. So let's just do this. I'm not struggling when I'm locked in. Oh, what is this garbage? They play a lot of stupid gambits. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, I'm having a trouble here. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's an adjustment game. That's silly, isn't it? Push some pawns, my friend. Thanks so much. You're the pawn pusher. Seems silly. What is that shit? Maybe just pin it right. Let's maneuver a little bit here. Ah! It's all right. Ah! Out of time, man. It's just does no good to review the games. It's not like I'm trying to play real chess. Except we can't really defend that, right? So we trade at that point, I guess. No, no. It's okay. It's not a problem. Especially if you're going to take some time with it. Boy, do I appreciate that. Ah. Ooh. See, then they play slow. It's just the way to do it is what you're going to see me do at some point when I start getting my ass kicked enough to fix my bad habits. I'll have to go for a walk in between every game or in speed chess, maybe every 3 games. So you're ready for something new. Nobody likes you. It's talk a little trash too. It's always helpful. It's not trap. It's gonna be awkward. Yeah. No. If you like to get pawns, I'll let you get pawns, but it's not something I recommend. Ah. I'm still probably in a pretty good spot here. It's gonna be hard for you to protect that pawn, but not undoable. Now you can't protect it, right? That's fine. Think I care? See if I care about it at all. I think I'm indifferent. I'm just confident. See, and they're playing slow. It just messes with your mind. But we're back to our peak. I need 3 wins. 3 wins now. Let's go. Usually that's a little more safe than bullet, or less to think about, I should say. No, you can't do that. No, I guess you can. Barely. It's going to be unpleasant for you. Either way. Well, I'll push that pawn again if I get the chance. So you got to be fast here. You got to be. No. So you don't think that you got too much time, though. Usually you don't. Ah! I'll take it. Not probably a very good move. Take the pawn. It's free pawn. You don't want free pawns dating. What do pawns do to you? You have a battery. Yeah, you should see that. So you can't think here. Like, what are you doing? Now I'm just gonna leave stuff on the board. Screw your life up. Ah! Doesn't matter. Give me one more. Give me one more. Come on. I want that 2100. Online's all about stats. Here to show off a little bit. I'll never play so lazy. The game can actually matter. That's fine. It's not always that easy to break that up. Let's try some stuff. Get our pawns back. Okay. Now I see that. Don't get lazy. Don't get lazy. Let's go. That pass pawn scares me much. It's an awful move. Just a brutal move. I'm just gonna leave. And in this situation, what you want to do, and I'm not speaking as a professional chess player, by the way. I'm speaking as a literally by rating, slightly above average club player that knows how to fucking win online chess games. And that's 2100. Great job, Nova. Be good then. Give me that award. That's the sign. It's got to be the Hans Niemann shirt. Yes. Yes. Well, just being honest, my conscience ain't doing bad because I try to minus the problems that I attract. And half the time, the wheels are in the back of my head. Just keep turning till the tire flatten, burning till the fire crack. No, I can't lie. The facts may seem a little far-fetched because I may be full of darkness when I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. Stop and drop and chain beside my empty guitar case. That's charity. Well, I move carelessly. That's why I'm always tripping. I guess you like electric lights. You help me go the distance. What I was saying. Yes. See, my speed numbers, my speed climb is going to be suspicious, but you got to think how many games I played in rapid. And then you just got to speed it up, and that takes some time. And I played a lot over the board. It's just a matter of speeding it up. And my ability has been there for a while. I just had to play a lot. This is not very, I still think this is just really shitty chess. Don't beat up on this disabled kid. That's my favorite bio on the damn platform. And it's not close. Despite being an only child, you said you need more of a fan. 23-21. I think this is about how good I can get. He's a perfect example, and he's streaming and he's teaching, so he's not fulfilling his potential. I don't know when H1 started. Name's DeBon. But I try to find people that I think depending on how much, like the LOE. Like what's the LOE in business? I hate that because you just don't know there's too many variables, but they like to make charts and budget instead of work. And I think H1 is my peak, unless I get a chance to do it full time, is over the board numbers too. Online and over the board. This is me. If I dedicate about the amount of time I'm dedicating now in about 2 years or a year, somewhere between a year and 2 years. It's hard to say. And then if I get a chance to do it full time, just like if H1 did, he'd be back to his peak. Yeah, see, he fell off because he's teaching and streaming. It's a full-time job. I could exceed that, but without it being, I could get about that. I could get about here while working a job, being a bit of a psycho, as Hikaru Nakamura says. It hurts my feelings to use that word. But, where's your wife? Honey. Yeah, she's going to get some groceries. Oh, shit. Call that out. You call that out. We got Alejandro Ramirez. We're going to get you now. You go get the fucking groceries. I get it, ladies. And it's not the majority of you, but I'm gonna beat that to death. There's no need to call it out. And if you are going to call it out, be specific. I'm not perfect. But it's so hateful. One of the call it out memes, the man made me wait for 5 hours to get my master title because he refused to accept a draw in an equal position. And I'm going to talk sexist only if women are hateful. That's my counter. I'm not sexist. I'd be the best trophy husband ever. Damn it, look at me. I'm clearly smarter than the average person. Clearly got a great sense of humor. If I'm into something, I'll work hard, but I'm kind of lazy otherwise. Trophy husband, 6'2", 210. Getting back into shape now that I haven't played as much online chess. Resourceful. Moved to a city by myself. Oh, check with your business fraternity. Check with your coworkers. Man, fuck that. I'll do it. I'm going to talk my way into a dealing job. That's what I want to do. It's flexible, so I can study chess in between my breaks. Leave me alone. Trophy husband. I won't cuss as much. You put a ring on my finger. Pay for my chess tournament entry fees. But I will talk like a misogynist if they get hateful. And then again, it's the minority, but all it takes is one. With the Justin Tucker case, with others, and I'm not saying they're innocent. I'm saying I don't know. So you're innocent, right? That's innocent until proven guilty. All it takes is one. Call it out. You're a pedophile these days. And so all I can do is call out when it's obviously a lie or exaggerated. And 5 hours, no chess time control lasts 5 hours. So get that shit off the internet. You're ruining a man's life. He could not have waited for 5 hours because he wouldn't have drawn. He would have lost. And I screenshotted that just in case they delete it because that's ridiculous. It's Suicide Prevention Month. I lost a friend to suicide. That's the shit. That is too far. 5 hours. Well, at least some of that was on your clock now, wasn't it? Because 90 minutes is the max he could have waited on his clock. So maybe you were 30 minutes, he was an hour, and he was trying to evaluate the position, and you're mad. Admit. Babe. I'll say babe. If you get assholey. Yeah. I pay pretty close attention to people I think I'm similar to or could be similar to with some work. And who knows? I'm only 30 and I feel very good. Obviously, you don't expect your energy and stuff to drop at 30, but I have a great foundation. I'm playing in Sunday rated games tomorrow. And right now, like I said, just a little tweak or two, I'm at 1,700. Once I get to 1,800, masters will at least look at me. Not that they've been mean, but if I were a master, I wouldn't look at 1,700s. I like 1,700s. I have some friends that are 1,700s. I'm a master. I worked hard for that shit. But at 1,800, a master will put the beer down. And this is not a grandmaster. This is a long ways away still in chess perspective. But a master is a very elite player. I believe Julian won the Missouri State Championship again, and he's won it several times. Missouri's got good chess. So, I mean, a master is capable of winning state tournaments. And masters every once in a great while beat a grandmaster. Though it's rare. So a master, from my knowledge, if a master sees an 1,800, especially if the master has the black pieces, which is a disadvantage, the master is going to wake up, put the beer down, like I said, and kind of sort of try. Because it's in the realm of possibility that master could lose. It's in the realm of possibility. It never happens. But if you want to take 1,000,000 to 1 odds, start at 1,800. And yes, I'm saying if it's a 1,700 versus a national master, I would take the other end. Yeah, give me the $1. I'll bet $1 million to get $1. Master's going to win that game against 1,700, 1,800. Fine, flip the odds. I'll give $1. I want $1 million. If the upset happens, but it's not going to happen. So 1,800 is a really good goal for a lot of people over the board. And Hikaru Nakamura's hateful video, not really. He doesn't mean it mean. And I actually respect the logic. I could have a good conversation with him. And one of my motives for wanting to work in chess initially, until I, got no reply and was in St. Louis anyway, and then the Hans Niemann shit happened. And I kind of think Hans Niemann is arrogant. I think that could serve him well. But as an American worker, and I worked in tech, you don't come to our country. I'm above this, and then just leave with an American and an American's reputation, dreams, hard work, and shambles. Get the fuck out of America. I don't care how good you are. That's ridiculous. And so that happened right when I moved here. And I was working nights, and I met the number 8 player in the world at the casino, and I knew his name, so I freaked him out a little bit, talked to him. I'm like, this is cool. And that's how you piss people off to where I'll play. And I don't really want anything to do with the people, aside from their autographs. And I promote them, but as far as like friendly business relationships, strictly acquaintances with a few. And if not, I totally understand. I'm not super easy to get along with. Another pro for Hans Niemann, neither was Bobby Fischer. Most great minds are not super pleasant and agreeable. But this is the best there is. This is, to a master, what a master is to the 1,800 I'm trying to be, which I'm a long ways from, by the way. Hikaru Nakamura would have to wake up and breathe against a master. I don't know when the last time he's lost to a master is in a rated game. I'm assuming it's a decade or more. That's the best. And so I listen because, like I said, in chess, it's appealing from a business perspective until I realize, chess is not as hard to get decent at as I thought it would be. Now, there's levels to the shit. Tyler won. But I didn't even really think it was going to be possible to become a average club player quickly. And since it was, maybe I can just play. Maybe someone will want to study. If I can just get enough for my lease, and I'll do incentives. Once I reach 1,800, because then I have to dedicate full time, I'll do incentives. And And if my content makes more money, leave me alone. I'll do it myself. But Hikaru Nakamura had an interesting take when Tyler won, was like 1,400. He watched some of his games for a while. Migration. Interesting name. You put a Q where there should be no Q. Because you want to test me in a spelling bee. I'm pretty fucking good. Buzz. This was when, and I really don't know if it's players on the platform with Hikaru.
Yeah, I mean, 97 was the worst
the moment.
position other than hanging.
One or two. I don't know if he understands just how bad, my level is anymore. Am I filming a video? It's a live stream. What are you talking about? I don't understand. But maybe it was a better level of play. A decade ago. Of course, they were grandmasters a decade ago. A lot of them. So, maybe this is just the right level, and I should be more impressed with 2,000 online players than I am. But I really think if Hikaru had time to study my games for a day, he would go, "This is a joke. This is not good. Every adult should get to 2,100 or at least 1,900." Listen to what Hikaru has to say. And to summarize, the most important takeaway for me from this, aside from, don't call me mean names. I'm a psycho, but I had a good upbringing, Mr. Hikaru, so I won't hurt you. Let's go over the board. Clown. Stupid head. It's going to need your queen and 5 pawns. I could steal your knight too. Good luck. But the most important takeaway was Hikaru assumed a psychopath, which I like it. He's a scientist, as most good chess players are. So assuming a psychopath. Put that on my Tinder profile. Some women are into that shit. I don't understand it. I'm afraid if I had a daughter, she'll hate me, or I'll be a pushover parent. She won't respect me. But neither is good. Because I don't get it. Like, there's nothing. I just assume we're all crazy. So the hotter the woman, the better. She's batshit crazy. I just dated her, and good God, 2 weeks she can hide, and then she goes nuts. That's about how long I last too. We realize I'm crazy, and then I could put a lot of effort in, maybe make it 3 weeks. But yeah, we're all crazy. So I want the hottest girl possible. That way, when she gets crazy, she's still sexy to get me through the crazy period. I didn't mean period, feminist, the crazy era. Well, now she's just crazy for long periods of time. What an asshole. While she's being crazy, I can look at her. And then we can get back to intellectual, calm debate. Why on earth would I not want the most attractive person? From my perspective, we're all beautiful, right? All women are beautiful. So I can enjoy that while the bad times happen. But don't call me a psycho. It's not a good look. 2,100 is not good in my eyes. Now, Hikaru Nakamura mentioned if an adult dedicated full-time work, to paraphrase. Full-time work, an adult was a psycho that just wanted to sit in a soundproof chess training phone booth with a crown on, drink Powerade, play guitar to reset my brain, use an hourglass to ensure I stay deliberate with my practice. Sell my second home, move me and my dog to St. Louis, deal cards overnight for an opportunity to begin my competitive chess career. You have that level of moron. Hikaru seemed to think 2,300 online. And I don't recall him mentioning a time control, so I'm assuming any, whichever your best one is. 2,300 online, which he thought was about 2,000. So 2,000 over the board, FIDE or USDF, close enough, which is about 2,300 online. That's it. intelligence, natural talent that, of course, wasn't developed until adulthood. Thanks, migration. Spell check. ChatGPT will help you. On a serious note, please challenge me on chess.com. Thanks for joining. So dedicating your whole, early 30s with training, it sounds like Hikaru Nakamura thinks a really talented, smart individual could develop into a 2,000 over the board athlete, which is about a 2,300 online athlete. I don't know. I don't care. 1,800 is good enough for my points. Like 1,800 is fuck you. 1,900 is I'm going to point at you with my middle finger. And then 2,000 is the middle finger and then smear it in your face. Not Hikaru or the chess people. Trauma from corporate tech during COVID lockdown. If you want to teach lessons, make examples. COVID lockdown is not a time to judge, to hang someone out to dry. Google the H-1B program. It basically says Americans are too dumb to learn tech, and chess is way harder in every way. It's more ever-changing. It's more complicated. It's more stressful than systems. And by rating right now, I would compare my chess ability to a software engineer, which is what I am. That's another reason I can't do the corporate shit, and I'll run my mouth about it forever. I'm not bitter necessarily. I never would have played chess. Got better at music. Met a lot of people. Got Magnus Carlsen's autograph. That was cool. Had it not been for that bullshit during lockdown, otherwise I'd be in corporate, just being a good little bitch. I nod my head. Oh, don't feed me. Don't know. I need you. Oh no, I'm desperate. I never learned to fend for myself. And man, I think I'd rather go to jail for a minute. Be like them, and I like those people. You can't tell. But 1,800 as an adult who never played as a kid, I didn't know how the pieces moved until lockdown. Is you should probably look for American workers. 1,900 is we're in America, bring the best and the brightest here. And 2,000 is Zoom calls work from India. Nothing against India, but Vishy Anand, going back to chess, is not inviting Hans Niemann to train and giving him special opportunities so Hans Niemann can come on Vishy Anand's turf in Chennai, or I don't know where the top chess tournaments are in India. But Vishy Anand is not begging Americans to come and take his people's training and get better and make an example, beat their ass, humiliate them on India's soil. So why the fuck would America? I'm not speaking about chess. I believe that about chess, but it's not my place. I mean, I'm an American citizen and I have a membership, so I guess I can say what I want. But other countries would never do what was done to Hans Niemann or what was done to me in tech, even if the kid's an asshole. It's not a foreign guest to decide that. Just like if I went to India to work and live and it was a good deal because I agreed to it, you better believe the months leading up and while I'm there, I'm doing 3 hours a day practicing Hindi out of respect because it's not my home. So why am I racist for explaining I don't speak Hindi? How could we possibly know if I'm dumb, smart, an asshole, the second coming of Jesus Christ, if I don't know what the fuck you're saying? And of course, I never said that. And I had friends. I went to breakfast with a few of my Indian friends because I worked with all Indian people. And most of the more talented ones spoke English, which was suspicious. So the less competent, which is pretty easy to tell. There are people who specialize in configurations, and it's not so easy. The best example of a configuration is a TVARV entry. So it's a table where you maintain variables. So as opposed to hard coding a value every time, like algebra, you would have x equals whatever, and you just change that for a certain. Now, this is not trade secrets. This is standard SAP. So this pay band would then get upgraded to this approval limit without having to go back into code. That's a maintenance, which is basically a configuration in my mind. I don't care what it's called. Let me take a test. I'll make the fucking light green and make the computer say hello world. I'm just okay. But then there are people who are actually legit, and it's a shame we can't get that right. In the top 5%, let's say, maybe a little more. Usually they're what I knew as basis people. Systems can be beautiful, perfect. There's not a semicolon off place. Everything's running. All the jobs are set up to the mainframe. So, a program and the development boxes, you just trigger it because you're testing. But in the live environment, it has to run at certain times. So you tie it to a mainframe job, and everything's just great. Woo! We did a good job. Okay, but the calls don't work. I can't hear you, Romeo, Julie, Adrian, Rocky, Adrian, Rocky. That's an unhappy system with a broken connection. They're good. They're both really good for each other, desirable to different people as well, maybe. Can't figure it out. I'm over here, you're over there, Marco Polo. All that perfect code might as well be dog shit. Now, there are people that connect that and more complex, fix it when the connection's not working. That's a special person. I'm not saying Americans couldn't do that, but I wouldn't have a huge problem. I wouldn't be digging if I were Trump and the Trump administration right now, if there were a lot of H-1B techies on the basis team. Pretty good. Better than I'll ever be. They're slightly above 2,000 over the board chess player in my eyes. Yeah, I don't want to waste my life, and even if I did, you got me. But interestingly, they and the elite developers, which there's really now with AI, I can't imagine any just pure coder is what I would consider essential or irreplaceable. Don't you ever for a second get to thinking. But the people that can do it all are technical experts, which in pretty much all tech environments, to my knowledge, that's the highest ranking techie that doesn't manage people because they're just that good. So you're paying them to manage your money, but they don't manage people. That's a really freaking smart person. And they tend to speak English. Whereas the config people, which a homeless man, clean him up, 2 weeks training, rehab, so he's not doing drugs in the office. A homeless person in just a couple weeks to a couple months. We're bringing people here to do configurations that are they're just familiar with customizations. So it's not like they're great with the standard product, which is SAP, Oracle, name your ERP solution. Like they just learned one company's customizations, which doesn't mean they're smart. It means they're like me with chess. I'm not that good, but I beat it to death. I'm insane. You can incentivize people to do that. A lot of people will work like I do with chess. If you tell them they have to and you pay them. Now why I'm probably going to figure it out, and I would figure any puzzle out, any system, any complicated skill, is because you don't have to tell me to do that. But the average people who just do configurations and aren't that great with code, like I think I could catch them. That's how bad they are with code, and I didn't touch it until my early 20s. They like to speak a lot of Hindi in meetings, and you can do whatever you want in your home. But in Bentonville, Arkansas, USA, are you kidding me? It's our house. We'll protect our house. Who's protecting America? Because that's disgraceful for even that to happen once. Just start speaking Hindi when the American is figuring it out, and you can't accuse them or you're racist. It's despicable. And to wrap that up, the H-1B program is my main motive for wanting to get good at chess. I don't like chess. It's cool. I mean, it's interesting. I like being good enough to understand what's happening at the high levels, which understanding and being able to do it are two extremely different ballgames. But it's a lonely thing. It's stressful. I get beat by kids a lot, and I always will. It's not that Americans can't learn, according to that program. It's that when you say Americans can't learn, you're saying a group of people can't learn. And if a group of people don't think they can learn, Charlie Kirk gets shot. Or if they think they can't develop some skill. I think that guy was like a 32 ACT person. But if you have confidence to do something, like speaking is the best example and the most common, it tends to trickle into other aspects. So I can learn chess. Let's give the best, BYU graduate in their tech program with a master's, talking 6 years training, and I just got bored during COVID mostly. I mean, I had some exposure and took a lot of classes, but had Sandbox I played during COVID. Debug, it's easy. But give the BYU summa cum laude a crack before we just bring in other countries' people to live here, send our soldiers to go die, and they get our houses and take our job. Oh man, it's really, it should be treason. And I have to live in this world. I'd like to probably have kids, though it's getting pretty shitty. And if you let even one corporation say this group of people can't learn, or it's cheaper, and that's what the truth is, it's cheaper and they can be controlled, but force them to say that, force them to lie, force them to tell HR the American's an asshole. I need a specific example so we don't get sued. That's my, say it. But don't you fucking say I can't learn. Go tell HR a lie about me. And then you can debate that, and you're going to need an example. Don't forge it. But I can prove I can learn. So if you want me gone, you're going to not call my mom and fish, not forge documents. You're going to say, Tammy Carr, your son's an asshole. Tammy Carr, your son can't be trusted. Tammy Carr, your son can't get along with people. And I would hope my mom would be reasonable enough to say, why? Please tell me. And even if so, I'm an adult, so it's not her business. And then you can't, because you want cheap labor while soldiers come back with PTSD. And I'm different than most. Fine. That's capitalism. If you can get away with it and you can sleep at night, I prefer you not quote Bible verses and talk about purpose. I don't think you lack talent. I don't think you need to die like Luigi Mangione thought. It's a great middle ground. Shut the fuck up and go run your business. Go maximize profits for the stockholders, then go to church on Sundays with your family and be a good dad. Be a good mom. Go to women in business conferences, advocate for women. I don't care, but I don't want to hear about ethics. Well, who is this asshole? We have a chief ethics and compliance officer. Who pays him? Is there a union? Decision was made. You want to challenge that? Mr. Chief, Mr. Ethic? No, I'm so ethical. Oh man, but my house costs money, and who pays my fucking bills? It's disgusting. But I want those types to swallow their pride, accept that this is reasonable compared to the extremes we're seeing in the world right now. You're not lacking talent. You're not stupid. I could learn a lot from them. I did learn a lot from them. Go lie if you want people gone. But don't say a person or a group can't learn unless you have exhausted all options and coached. There's my evidence. And like I said, there's my middle finger smeared in your face. And I'm not perfect. But you have to let me do that. Forever. Because chess is way harder than systems. When he was analyzing, and this is the stuff I saw.
This is why I can't watch his games. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I can't watch.
This is the type of talks I saw before I was any good at all at chess. Like I would get beat pretty handily by the level of player I am now. So I just assume that's about true. 1400 online. It's when I'm going to fizzle out. Over the board, I had no intention of playing over the board when I started online during COVID, of course, because Springfield, Missouri didn't have a chess club. We have a senior center, and Missouri State took like a 10-year gap, which is my alma mater. And now they have, I think the best player is about 1850, which is good, but we got him from Texas, so he'll probably be leaving once he graduates. So we don't have like a renowned chess program yet. Fix that shit. Like I would be able to be one of the top 4 players probably at Missouri State from what I saw. And that's not good. That's not good because then you go to Mizzou and you have Ariane Tari, who's the best collegiate player. He's about 100th in the world. Just beat our asses blindfolded in a simul. Go Tigers. But then when I didn't get a reply, and I was in St. Louis, I liked being in St. Louis because I grew up, coming to ball games here. I knew a lot of the roads, knew a lot of the restaurants. Just made sense. I'm not going to move farther away during COVID. I have a dog. I'm not going to Manhattan while Omicron was hitting. Are you kidding me? And I just played a lot. And then now I'm totally convinced 1,800 is extremely doable for an adult who never played as a kid. And then with the right opportunities, I think 2,000 is pretty low. I think that's not very generous, but this is what I listen to a lot. I might just watch this whole video. See, and this is the type of stuff, and I don't mean it's mean, because like I said, I have my flaws. I'm running my mouth a little bit here too, Car. Sorry about that. Like I have my flaws. No criminal record, thank God. But I do try to be mindful if I care or the person hasn't done anything to me. Like I talk about some chess women, and I say some. I've said many times, Anna Cramley seems like the nicest human. Her rating's up to 2,400 in Blitz. I'm not out here. I could beat the fuck out of her, bro. She's not a grandma. She plays she was broke. What a dumb. Oh, it's hard to listen to. Tyler one is. But it's a few. But it's a few that can ruin a man's life on social media these days. But so when I see the 5 hour thing, that's not true. You just lied about a man to get women fired up, and young girls are impressionable. They want to fit in just like young boys. So a young girl sees me at a chess club. I'm taller. I'm an adult. And her peers are calling it out. Oh shit! Well, what if they don't like me anymore? I want to die. He's fucking looking at me. But it's not true because chess games don't last 5 hours on one person's clock. So it's a blatant lie, and I could show you it, but I'm not going to pull the account up. Some classy individual. And like, how do they think? Oh, well, we're going to do that, and then we're going to grow our game. We're going to grow our game. People are going to want to come, get called out. If I'm not good, I'm not welcome. And if I get good, I'm an insane psychopath. Like who does your marketing? That's what I don't get. And again, I don't mean to be mean because I like that I don't have to care if I like them. In the corporate world, and they do a lot of good things. Like, it doesn't matter if they're any good. It doesn't matter. On up to the CEO. I mean, the higher you get, the more likely they are to be competent. And I think Walmart's got great, really, really amazing, talented leaders. I wouldn't trust them. I hate the church stuff. I hate the Southern hospitality, and then we'll stomp on your throat if we have to. Not because you're stomping on people's throats if you have to, but because you're acting like good little church boys. And Jesus showed mercy always. Want to get religious, so leave the religion. But that's agree to disagree. But I can't prove they're any good. I think they are. They made really good decisions. But also, when you have a well-oiled machine, I could pull a semi-truck that far if it was already moving until the momentum stops. But to get those trucks going, you've got 300-pound dudes that are fit, that have trained for it, and they're chaining it to their back and they're pulling it. That's starting a business versus inheriting one. It's so much different. And I would like to know if they're any good, or if they had a good technical expert. Like the technical experts are usually pretty introverted because they're too smart. So you could ride behind a good technical expert and be a dumbass manager and make $400,000 a year in corporate tech. Uncommon, I'm sure, but I can't disprove it. And I like most of those people. I would prefer to work with people I'm on, I don't like, but I can prove their competence. You got to earn. Hikaru's caliber, that's a different class. But Hikaru Nakamura is about a 2,800 level worker. Is he a good person? Seems fine. I don't know, and I don't care. Seems like his wife is very kind. I don't know, and I don't care. Because I don't want to work with him because of the Hans Niemann stuff and just the kissing Tyler one's ass and the GM thumbnail that's hateful. But before that, I would have loved to. I would move to St. Louis and work very hard on chess because I don't have to wonder if they're any good. I had a few friends I met at meetups, one from college in St. Louis at the time. Those are my friends. And if we end up being friendly, that's great. And if not, it's a good story that helps you grow chess, and you can help me get better. Creative, different content ideas. Really let me audit these videos. Say, you just called him an insane person, and you're trying to sell a course. You improve to a certain level, you're an insane person. Buy our course so you can improve. Are you fucking kidding me? It's amazing that such smart people, and I'm not necessarily surprised because I saw it in corporate America. And like, I'm trying to get into chess business, I guess. I really just want to fucking play, and I'm talking shit, so I might not be that socially savvy either. But you're gonna sell your course. People watch your streams mostly, I would hope, to get better. But then if they get better and they buy your products, they're psychopaths. Like, why would you use those terms? I don't understand how, even if you're not thinking, it wouldn't just, you wouldn't have something in your brain that would automatically stop you from saying that. It's incredible. And I'm going to do it on my own because it makes me happy-ish. And I'll be the psychopath, just please don't talk to me because you hurt my feelings. It's just amazing. Listen to this.
Is he still playing? I hope he's not, actually. Like, jokes aside, he's playing. Oh God. Okay, fine. You know what? Let's find him.
And this was long before.
What's his name? It's like Big Tonka or something weird. It's like Big Tonka, right?
Oh. No,
wait, what is it? It's Big Tonka T.
It's 200 or more.
Oh, let's watch Tyler for a bit.
Best time control. That's what it was. That was
I'm gonna be honest though. Like, this is just tough love, but I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, Tyler won. I mean, he needs to get back to League of Legends. Like, he has hit that hard wall, and he continues to play.
So Tyler 1's at 1400. Tyler 1 ended up at like 1960. And he doesn't know how to play any openings. So I think that he got lucky to get to 1960, but still getting there with no opening theory at all is very impressive. Like, I know openings. I don't study them in depth or with a second, but I know general principles, and I know the main probably 8 openings, two between 3 and 5 moves, along with a pretty good idea of the run system. So, I'm not beating myself out of the open ever. I'm not trying to get an advantage. I'm trying to not use a lot of time and break even. But Tyler 1 was able to get to that level without doing that. It's sad because he has 0 reps, 0 times seeing an early middle game that will actually help him. Like, you can't at 1200. I'm going to play tomorrow, which I'll beat at 1200 if I'm paired. That has had some training, or the grandmasters outside. My computer's going to die. Doesn't seem right. 1200 would wreck Tyler, even though Tyler's much better overall. Because you can't get someone who's focusing and at least has some training, even if he or she's newer or not emotionally mature yet. You can't give them the whole board worth of space. You'll suffocate, right? And that's what Tyler 1's done. So he would have to literally start from scratch. He can think the cow is going to last over the board. I'm telling you, I don't know that he beat 1100s over the board. I really don't. That are taking lessons. Now, an 1100 could be good at different things, or better at different things, I guess. Like an 1100 who doesn't know anything about openings, but has better tactics. Tyler 1 might beat that person, but an 1100 who is taking lessons with a grandmaster and knows openings, at least to get out ahead or knows what they're trying to do in the open, so you're at a huge disadvantage as Tyler 1. By the middle game, I think Tyler 1 would get the shit beat out of him by an 1100 over the board. Explain the cow, moo on a farm, but it's not going to help him play chess. So I've seen literally like probably 100,000 between online and over the board, legitimate early middle game positions. And I've reacted, and sometimes after the game I'll go deeper if it's a continuation of a line, and then I'll write it down. Son of a bitch, what was that? Mouse. What I did, and I don't do as much anymore because I'm a little more advanced now. I think by rating, I'm a good intermediate player. Over the board, online, I'm an expert. I'm past expert. I would do this. This is how you should do it, by the way. Would I be better to coach new players than a grandmaster? A lot of them, yeah, probably. Like, you want me to get, I'm not going to do this because the call it out stuff, again, you want people to coach, you want people to help? Let's go work with young kids. Alejandro Ramirez seemed to have been shady. I don't care, because during the call it out era, which is over, whether you're innocent or guilty, you're treated the same. So come coach, come grow chess. We want to make more money. Oh, we want to be recognized. And then you want to ruin people. I mean, it's just, how do you figure? But here's where, a lot of smart people, like I heard the word skewer used with a beginner one time, and I'm like, okay, he doesn't know what that is, and you used it early on. So now the whole lesson, he's trying to figure out what a skewer is. First thing I would have done is one, what is the concept I'm trying to get across? And two, how can I make sure I never use that word until the athlete is like 1,200? And some smart people, it's the first thing they want to do. It's amazing. So instead of instead of Roy Lopez, it should never be mentioned ever, like until my level and probably higher. Honestly, like don't talk about the Carl Con. Figure out principles, and then I think you can add in those things, and you will have some benefits from doing what I did. Which I was curious because chess.com shows the opening. So when I was living in Springfield, Missouri, my hometown, and I was playing online, I Googled some. There's early YouTube videos of me doing the High School Musical dance with this is the Open Sicilian. When I learned that, it was probably my first or second one. I think I learned the Roy Lopez first. But then you need to just play them. And my system is it's more so for the middle game because the openings, it's not like it really matters. But if I make a mistake, it's a box. It's a solid box. So a mistake or worse. So of course, blunders, losing the game, etc. It's a box. Wasn't good. I can't accept that. A good player, I'm over. I'm done now. So it's a solid box. And then it will be in red. I switched. Black is what happened. Red is what could have happened or should have happened. And then pencil are mostly my commentary from what I was thinking at the board. If I remember the time during a certain situation, why, any variables I can think of, and then the correct thought process in words, kind of like decode chess. I try to do that with pencil. So solid line indicates a mistake. After the solid line, like I have knight b1 / knight e2. And if I don't have a lot of time, that's just the engine recommendations in order of value. But if I, again, those variables like time, I try to not just take the engine's word for it. I say, okay, that would have simplified, and the opponent was almost out of time. So maybe knight e2 wasn't as good of a move, but in time trouble, it's going to make it harder. So I will flip it, and I will change the order. But mistake, and then the correct ones with slashes to separate. And then a squiggly box means an inaccuracy. And I don't really use chess.com's move classifications as descriptions. Maybe I did it first. But an accuracy, basically, even against a good player, like let's say the player 1900, I'm not beat yet, but I made myself obviously worse. That's to me what a squiggly box means. And then I do the same thing, but I'm a little more serious about it because now I was not completely off track, and I want to know why. Like the first question is, did I even consider any of those best moves? And if not, what the fuck am I looking at? And then if I put a dot, so like d takes on c5 in this example, which is from a long time ago, because I was rated 14-18, so that's a long time ago. November of last year. D takes on c5, period. Okay. So period means that is going to fall in the sequence of the top 4 engine moves, but it's not the best. And sometimes if it's the second best, I might just count it as the first best for simplicity. But period means it was certainly an option. I didn't screw myself, and I might have even made a good decision. But there were clearly better options. So to save space, because you only have so much room, and clutter is bad when trying to learn anything, you'll have the top engine move, or if I had a chance to break it down with the grandmaster, the top grandmaster idea, which is usually pretty close to the engine move, and then slash. So this one was the second of the best moves, the move I made in black. So I'm not going to write it again. That would waste space. That I want to use words and stuff to explain my thought process. So it's slash, slash. So there's 2 slashes. My move falls in between the slashes. And then I finish the sequence. That's if there's a period. And if I have the black, which is my move, and then a slash, that indicates I did make the best move. But there were certainly more to look at depending on the type of game I wanted to play. And then I get those moves. And I don't always write it down because it would take a lot of space. But I might go for a walk. So you're not going to have this at the board. I think a big weakness of people that aren't very good, that are like low level, maybe get classes at first, but like 1200 to my level, I think it's a very lonely period. It really should be. And if you get through it with a coach, I think you handicap yourself later. I think coach to 1200 to a little better than I am right now, maybe even 1800. I think you need to figure it out on your own and just like talk to a grandmaster, go to group lectures. Let's see. Which one was it? D takes. Yeah, the type of game I wanted to play. So best move slash, and then I really am trying to not. I mean, I put them in order of the engine move usually, but I'm not really trying to do anything if they're all similar. And in the opening, they're all going to be pretty similar. What type of game do I want to see? And there was a period there. One of my over the board plateaus, which I've had fewer over the board plateaus because I haven't increased as much. Like online, I've had several plateaus, but most of them weren't on starting out. So over the board, it's harder to break a plateau. It's not like a focus thing. It's not playing fewer games. It's literally you're just not. It's clear you're outmatched. And I had a few of those early on, and I accepted. They had ladder weekends, so it was 9 games in a weekend, and I went to several of those. I don't know how many because Mike left. It was a previous arbiter that did those, and they stopped after he left, which I love those because they were 25 minutes, 9. So 3 Saturday, I think, 3 Saturday night, and 3 Sunday. And I was Uber driving, so I could attend those. Now I'm doing cards again. I couldn't. But that was great. Because when you get 9, I would pick out some games where I'm literally just trying to do something that I'm not comfortable with. Let's say it's a 1900 player, which happened every now and then. Benjamin Bach was at those because he wanted $1,000. I was like, Grandmaster wants to hang out. No, he wants to beat our ass and make a quick buck. But I never got board 1. I got close. Like early on. So like if you win early enough, you might catch the Grandmaster when there's no masters or really even experts there. He just wants the money. I would do it. But I think I went like 3-0 one time, and I might have, if I won my 4th one, I might have played him. I don't remember, but I didn't ever make the Grandmaster in those latter weekends. It's fine. But I would pick a game like against the 1700, 1900. And at the time, I was probably 1300. You're going to beat my ass no matter what I do. So let's play this. And if I had white, for the first couple moves, I can force them to the type of game I thought I wanted them to play and see how they handle it. And I was good enough to make them work for it just a little bit. And I accepted I was going to lose. And then once I probably got to 1400, and I'm just off the top of my head, I write a lot down so I could tell you more specifically. Once I got to 1400-ish, I tried to use the monthly weekend events, which is where the best competition, people that are at SLU or are really strong, got really strong as a kid, maybe 2000 even, but don't have time to attend all the stuff like I was attending. They come to the weekend events. It's really, really good, and a lot of them. Like I would try to win those no matter who I played. Even when I played in the open events, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to play things I'm comfortable with. If I'm outmatched clearly, I'm trying to trade pieces. I'm not trying to win. If I know you're really good, I played a master once and I blew it, but my mindset was correct. Like I'm trying to draw you with black. And on the rated games on the weekends, which is not the monthly event, that's really good. You don't really know what you're going to get as much. I'm usually between the 3rd and the 10th best player there, closer to 3rd. And then the weekly nights, which I can't play because I work Tuesday nights now. Those were my test. If it was someone, there's a few people that had a floored out rating. So USCF says you can't go below 1500, but they got older or they got out of it. There was a few that were floored at 1500. They're probably not quite 1500 players. So when I was mid 1400s, I wanted to beat them. So I played a little bit more to win. But I was playing different openings. If I saw an opening during the monthly event with the really good players, I would try to play it from my opponent's perspective, so I understood it better and accept a loss. I would try to, if there was an opportunity that was even decent, I would kill my castling rights. If there was any reason to, I would make exceptions during the Tuesday games. And then when the monthly event came back around, I would try to win again. That's how you would do it. That's how you should start. And definitely no openings. I think openings should be the last, personally. I think endgame should come after tactics. Every endgame pattern you could possibly imagine under the sun, because you're there. It's kind of just a version of tactics. In my eyes, patterns are tactics. So, like endgame tactics, it's all what you do to start. And then openings, just see everything and play it. You don't even know what it's called. See everything. Figure out your own system. So that when you get to a certain level, it's called 1800. You can jump right in, and you've seen so many things. And now when you see some one-off, gambit or different openings that are played at the top level that you don't see often, they're more complicated. And now you've got so many reps, call them mental representations, where even if you don't have a super good memory, and I do, you will peg it really quick, versus if you just try to learn openings before you know how to play chess. It'll take a lot more work and energy. That's what I would do. I'm gonna watch. I got it. You just stop and prove at a certain point.
Hit the other tab so we don't hear.
I'm gonna watch this.
Stuff. New
I've already
tab.
watched this like 5 times.
Let me mute all the game tabs. Okay.
I've got a.
Notry went from 200 to 400, 1400. I've spoken about it before. I don't know what I mean, I'm sure there's some scientific reason besides just saying neuroplasticity or whatever for when you say neuroplasticity or whatever is a general thing. Like I know that's the technical way of putting it, but I feel like there should be a better scientific explanation than just like neuroplasticity. Because it's like it doesn't matter who you are. When you start at a certain point as an adult, like you cannot get past a certain level. It's impossible. And I don't know what the actual reason is. Rook C8, very bad move. Now Black will walk the king up. But again, the level they're at, you never know. But King A4 and B3 doesn't seem super difficult. Thinking of Mr. Sneckle for the 8 months. Yeah, if he doesn't check here, he's
just like a Karu could become an elite software engineer. Not the best.
And then King C3 and B3 and Rook B4 and build the bridge. At this level, I don't think it's guaranteed. The problem for Tyler here is that this queen side is so stable, king side is so stable that you know that you're just pushing P.
Problem for Tyler is he's not me. You bet on the wrong chess horse. Well, I like to gamble too. Start, middle.
Okay, first blunder.
And when they watch the early videos on my YouTube channel, which I'm going to get stronger.
Oh, Hafu was the best improver, yes.
Or not.
I would agree. I think Hafu for someone who put in that much time, and her rating was also in the same range, though, right? Wasn't Hafu also like 1,500, 1,600-ish? And she went all in for like 2 months as well, I think. Yeah, of course, Rook F6 is an obvious move because like it's a free pawn. Like you're probably not even seeing Rook F1 and calculating the pawn push most likely here. This game could go either way, though. And you ask me, why do I know that this is Tyler's level? The reason that I know that is because he's been stuck in this range between like 1,300 and 1,500 for the last like 2 weeks now. And I don't know, again, when I say these things, like it's not to be mean. It's just based off of literally my entire life in chess and seeing these things. Okay, so this should be a draw, I would guess. But if anybody can win, it's probably only white because H5 is a weak pawn. Magus did win. Actually, sorry, Sardosh I thought already was playing chess, though. Tyler's improvement, I would say it's not super shocking to me objectively for a couple of reasons. First of all, he's like spending 12 hours a day, whereas most people can only spend like 2 to 3 hours. And then secondarily, so he's getting like 4x the hours. But then secondly, I would say that getting to like 1,400, that's about 1,000 over the board. That's not super out of this world high. It isn't. Now I know, of course, there are a lot of people who struggle these levels to be completely fair. Like I'm not going to try and pretend. Very good chance that Tyler wins this because there's a very good chance we get a Queen G6 check here. Very, very good chance. Miles Edwards right for the resub, but I've said before, like in chess, there's really only one thing you need to get to a certain level. All you need are tactics. Like, and let's just use like actual over the board ratings. I would say like over the board ratings, like 1,000 is not insane if you have good tactics. Like it's not hard to go from 0 to 1,000. Not hard at all. Stuck for 2 weeks, yeah, but it starts to trend. Actually, it's been more than 2 weeks, probably. Oh, Queen G6, I told you guys. I knew he was going to walk into this, yeah. I knew his 96th percentile is just a
Ace 32, am I going to forget how to do 2+2?
When we talk about 96th percentile, that's because there's so many new accounts created on chess.com, which have a 400 rating and don't
There's a
go
little
anywhere.
X there, and it's called a variable.
It's a huge misnomer. When you say it's like 96th percentile, that's not the 96th percentile. It isn't. If you look at the active accounts, it maybe is like, I would guess, it's hard though, because on chess.com, there's so many accounts created at 400 that it probably is like 90th percentile, even though in over the board, it's not. Like over the board, I would say that essentially 1,000, which is the level Tyler's at, is like 1,400 is 1,000. 1,400 is 1,000 over the board. There's a 400-point rating differential. Over the board, I would say that 1,000 is probably, I'm guessing, 85th percentile. Wait, why am I not? Let me click follow. Follow. There we go. What is Magnus's wall? I mean, his wall is like 2850 or 2880 or whatever it is. That's his wall. What is this? He's actually, yeah, he's playing the same opening. I mean, trying to play with these meme openings. Obviously not a great opening choice either, if I'm being honest. Like, but it proves one key point, as I've said before, which is in chess, the only thing that matters is tactics up to a certain point. Like, the opening doesn't mean anything. You can literally play A6, B6 if you know the basic development and you have good tactics. It doesn't matter until probably, I would like say 1,800 online. That's what I would say. I think you can probably get to about 1,800 online playing bad openings if you have good tactics. Maybe higher even, frankly, but I would say the opening doesn't matter up to a point. It just doesn't matter. Why aren't BD and Chess.com ratings the same? Because Chess.com is online and Chess.com has different, I think they use a different rating system. They're more players, et cetera, et cetera. Again, like white is much better here, but the thing is, it's a closed position. So like the game can go in any direction here. How much time would it take me to get to this level? This is like 1,000. This is basically like 1,000 over the board. I was there within 6 months, but I had a break. Like I started, I was like 700. I had a 6 month break, and then I went straight up. So, but even that is a bad example. Because
I'd like to take this moment to promote Duluth's underwear. Like Hikaru says, I'm a grandpa. I still like to run real fast every now and then. And Duluth's offer a great mixture of support. The fabric makes them comfortable, whether I'm sweaty or just going out to dinner. Duluth's, best place to get men's underwear. All right, continue talking to shit.
because like it's a bad example also because like when I got really into chess as a kid, I was spending maybe 3-4 hours when I was really little, like 3-4 hours. And so the thing is, like, it looks really it makes it like that's 3-4 hours, whereas Tyler's spending 12 hours. So he's putting in 3x the hours. So it's the hours that actually matter more than the actual pure days. The hours per day that matters the most. Not everyone's chess winner. That's not the point, though. That's not the point at all. He's spending like 12 hours. The effort is impressive. I mean, the question is what's going to happen when he stays stalled in this range for like another month, and he's spending all his time playing chess instead of streaming League of Legends. That's going to be the real question. That's the big question. Is a coach worth it? A coach is worth it. Honestly, I probably shouldn't say this considering this is like the field that my stepdad is in, but I would say realistically, unless you have aspirations as like a kid to be like a really serious player to try and get very strong, I would argue there's so many resources online that you actually don't need a coach. That's the honest reality. I don't think you need a coach. I think all the resources on chess.com and elsewhere make it so that you don't actually need a coach. If you do your puzzles, you do all these things, you're going to get to a pretty good level without needing a coach. Yeah. Do I think it's sus he went from 1,000 to 1,400 a week? No, I don't. Not at all. Because because he had the big gap, which is not surprising considering all the puzzles and everything else he does. No, I don't find it weird at all. Also, some people self-motivate better than others. Like streamers specifically, they're much better at self-motivation than others because like when you start out streaming, you're just doing it. Like you just do it on your own. You don't have like a big team. You don't have people helping you. So for like a streamer, they're obviously going to be very good at self-motivation. Starting young makes a difference. I mean, it depends like what you want chess to be for you. I mean, it really depends what you want from chess. Yeah, and 2 years ago, go from 0 to 2,000 in rapid, which is basically 1,600 over the board. That doesn't sound impossible. No. I would say I think in general, like the level which gets like where you have to really put in a lot of time is somewhere around 2,000 over the board, which online is 2,400. I think if you spend a couple of years, you can probably get there. But getting above that is impossible unless you start as a kid. Borderline impossible. Just saying. It's impossible. It basically is impossible.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want.
Starting young makes a difference. I mean, it depends like what you want chess to be for you. I mean, it really depends what you want from chess. Yeah, and 2 years ago, go from 0 to 2,000 in rapid, which is basically 1,600 over the board. That doesn't sound impossible. No, I would say I think in general, like the level which gets like where you have to really put in a lot of time is somewhere around 2,000 over the board, which online is 2,400. I think if you spend a couple of years, you can probably get there. But getting above that is borderline impossible unless you start as a kid.
Okay, so that's actually
Borderline impossible. Just saying, it's impossible. It basically is impossible.
so 2,000, and we'll say 2,400 online. He didn't say time control that I heard. 2,000. You're gonna say USCF.
And you've also seen it with all the streamers too. Like a lot of them when they played chess during PogChamps, during PogChamps, a lot of streamers like they had improvement. They hit that peak. The difference between them and Tyler is that Tyler is basically trying to bang his head against the wall over and over and hope for a different result.
So
Whereas like a lot of them, like XQC, for example, it was like 11, 1,200, and then he stopped, of course, when he played after months of a break. He ended up, like doing very poorly. Whereas like all of them hit a wall at some point, and then of course they moved on from chess and PogChamps. But
I would get them all.
I mean, Tyler is trying to break through that wall. He might break through it. You never know. It is possible, but I would say just based on like all my years in chess, it's pretty unlikely. He might get to 1,600. I think he could get to 1,600, but I don't really see much above that.
Here's what I don't get. This is inconsistent, and again, I'm not perfect, but that's inconsistent, right? It's got to be a little bit inconsistent. So in 2 years, one could reach 2,000. Tyler 1 is clearly a psychopath, as am I. I mean that as a compliment. Hikaru seems to mean it as a derogatory term. Nonviolent psychopath is probably the best compliment I could give somebody. And I would want to be friends with you. Please don't hurt me. So 2 years, Hikaru just said, to get to 1,600 over the board or 2,000 online, which I would agree that's about right. That's about right. 2,000 online if one is playing focused, adjusting the time controls appropriately. That's about the same caliber of players as 1,600 over the board, who is also adjusting between online and real players, because some people online, they just play for fun. They're not seriously trying. This is 2 years to get there. But then he said Tyler 1's wall is 1,400, and he might peak at 1,600 online. Now, maybe Hikaru was talking about over the board, and then online going back and forth in his head. When he said 1,600, he meant over the board, but he knows Tyler 1 doesn't play over the board. So 2 years, it's doable for a smart person. I think we can all agree Tyler seems pretty smart. And he's got some gaming background. The next best thing to systems. Then why would you limit him to 1,600 if you think in 2 years a smart person can get to 2,000? Like, whatever.
Like, I don't know, like playing a bunch of different openings, like
yeah, that's where
just literally spending every hour of every day on chess forever. Everyone's talking about Tyler like he's a god. Well, I mean, it's tough because, like, on the one hand, when I say this stuff, like, I'm literally basing it off of 30 years in chess. On the other hand, people are like, oh, you're just being negative and negative Nancy, whatever. But, like, when you've literally spent, like, 30 years in chess and you've literally seen nothing where someone goes from 0 to, like, master level and past a certain age, like, it's just reality. And, I mean, I don't know. People don't like the truth in this modern day, but I'd rather give the truth than, like, give something fluffy.
You're already married. Seeking the truth in this modern day.
Do you know anyone who spent this much time on chess as a beginner? I mean, many people have. Many kids have. Many kids have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I see him out there in the lobby. I'm going to see him tomorrow.
Same here, and after 5 months, I'm still 1350. It's because there's this brick wall. There's this wall that you run into, and it's just like Harry Potter. You know how platform 9 3/4, like when Harry runs into the wall in Harry Potter, like he runs into the wall, he can't go through the wall. It's the same thing. There's a wall for everybody in chess that you hit very relatively early on. Now, some cases it doesn't happen. Like my brother, it didn't happen, but that's also why my brother stopped improving, because my brother basically went almost unabated from like starting up to like 1900 or 2000 over the board, which is like 2400 online. Very, very good. But that actually was a huge impediment later on, because then he stopped improving. Like he had never hit the wall. He never had to grind and get through that wall. So he stopped. He basically was around master. He hit master level, never improved. Okay, let's see what's happening in this game. I would argue queen d4 is such a bad move, but I guess at this level, it doesn't even matter. The two bishops are better. It doesn't matter. The two bishops are better. But we back. Wait, F? I didn't drop any frames, though. OBS didn't drop any frames. What the heck? That must have been on Twitch. That had to have been on Twitch, because I didn't drop any frames. That must have been a Twitch issue. Okay, they need to close for the 7 months. I mean, come on. Amazon's up like not 3%, but it's like 146 or something today, right? It's 146. Surely they can afford to pay for servers. Come on. So, anyway, okay, yeah, this position, I mean, black is better objectively, but I don't expect. It really at this level, all it comes down to is who has the easier plans. That's it. Like here, for example, computer wants knight e5, which to me is not that difficult to play. But see, like white tries to force through an obvious plan with f6 to try to go for something obvious. And it's just a bad move. I still think the game could go either way at this level. F? F for what? What is F? That actually looked like it was on my end. That was on my end. I just saw red. That was on my end. That was actually my internet. Why is it going red? Is something being uploaded? Let me see. 1 second. What's going on? Yeah, no, that's on my end. I can see the dropped frames.
You sound grumpy, Mr. Caro. Years of torturing your brain in isolation. Made you a sandwich. You'll get bread and a plate when you get a better attitude.
I'll be honest, game. By the way, Tyler 1 is playing. He's winning another game.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's like Tyler's been stuck in this rating range. I'll just change the scene again. But Tyler's been stuck in this rating range around like 1400-ish for a long time. I mean, I really do think Tyler's peak is 1600. That's what I would say. I think Tyler's peak is 1600 online. I'll just say. I mean, maybe he'll be psychotic about it and like waste months and months rather than streaming and making.
See, one of the things that got me chased out the door in corporate tech, aside from me being an American citizen, what's your goal? What's the goal? What's the goal? I'm inexperienced. I don't know it all. I know we need a goal. Why the fuck would we start a meeting saying hello and shit? What's the goal? We can say hello after and then enjoy a 20-minute conversation because we got our shit done. But otherwise, we go around in circles for 35 minutes. We're late till the next meeting and no one's happy. So what's the goal? I figured that out at age 24. What's the goal? My goal is to get this shit done because it was lockdown. I can work out. I don't have to drive anywhere. I'm walking my dogs, playing my piano. Jesus. What's your goal? Let's talk about it. And then get it done. Some people's goal in corporate is to feel smart, sound smart. How many lines of code can we put in this program? My goal, because I was reviewing the code, how can we make sure that's written in the fewest lines possible? And if you reuse, let's put a loop command, because I don't want to do this shit twice. And a few times I'd call the customer. Hey, is this what you want? This is what it's going to do. That's not what we wanted at all. In fact, let's just cancel it. All right. Cancel the code. Pull the transports. Fuck it. No, but I've worked hard on this. Yeah, I mean, the boss hired you because you're talented. You don't have to prove that. What you need to prove is, can you build what someone wants and understand instructions from an individual who literally has never seen an SAP GUI screen. If you said SAP GUI, which some smart people do that, SAP GUI to a business person in another country that doesn't hardly even use computers at all. Like, what and then you're going to talk about code and API calls? They're going to quit. They're going to pull the budget. Like, so what's the goal? The goal is to build something that accomplishes the desired result given to us by the customer or the business, and make it as simple as possible so we don't break anything in regression testing. Well, it's a different meeting now, right? Different meeting. We're not trying to show off and make this hard to understand or risk the systems breaking. We're trying to do what the customer wants. So now the meeting is better. But you can talk if you want. I'm not the boss. And Hikaru's deal there, like, okay, Tyler wants peak at 1600. What's the goal? Is his goal to be a psychopath and waste his existence? Fucking loser. Trying to get good at a board game? Eating turkey sandwiches? It tastes good as shit. Low sodium. Deerberg's. Great cheese. Oh, well, okay. Well, maybe it's more then. But you need to say that, though. You need to say that first before you frame your argument, right? Because if his peak is 1600, that would indicate that he's doing what I'm doing times 2, which is because he has enough money from League of Legends to not have to worry, which he's earned. And he should have went over the board and still wasting his time playing the fucking cow against online people that are no good. So a peak would indicate that's if he's doing everything, assuming he is a psycho. So if you think he could get good just streaming League of Legends, I think he's married as a kid. He's a really impressive bodybuilder. I wouldn't fuck with him personally, and I'm fairly big. Well, if he's doing all those things, his peak is 1600. Or is his peak 1600 if he doesn't do all those things? There's a lot of variables here you should consider when talking shit on adult brains. I mean, you're a grandmaster, so you can do whatever you want. I'll still shut up if you tell me to. Respect is important, by the way. I talk shit. It might not sound pleasant. My personality is just bubbly, though. Meet me in person. If I smile, you won't even know I'm a prick. But at the end of the day, I'm not the one sitting here talking about that Hikaru guy, that Magnus Carlsen guy. Oh, I bodied him, bro. I would never say that. Even to some of the women who call it out, like the main call it outer. She's a pretty good player. Now she wouldn't, touch Hikaru or any of them, probably even if they're blindfolded. At her best, she's like 2366. That's a really good player for America, especially. And now it's there's Carissa, yep, there's Alice Lee, some others that are getting there. But that time especially, that's really good. I think she's a good chess player. I think she's got some problems, and she's got naked men across from her in memes, and then you want people to come play with you. If I get married, do I want my future wife to see me in a meme, cowering down naked next to a woman? Is that manly? Am I going to protect her? There's a burglar. So come on and play. That's like calling people insane. Come on and play. We want women and men to play. All right. Well, there's a naked man by a woman who a few years later called it out and ruined a man's life, reputation, got him fired from all his jobs. What does that look like? And I don't know if it's true or not. I don't care. Okay. You were looking for one, and you got one. Feminist. No, there have been women pose half naked. That's happened by chessboards. So men haven't been doing that. So don't put a man in that position. That's you. Talk to your peers. And then a few years later, you go get a man on your own. It just looks like you have a problem. And I'm not perfect either.
Money, but I really do think 1600 is the upper end of where he can get to. Watch Tyler one. Okay, 1 second. Like, here's a good example. This position is all about tactics. But actually, one thing I don't like is like something like this. Here's an example. This position out of the opening, this cow opening, is very positional. So there are no clear plans. Like, do you play E5?
because you
Do you
didn't have
play
any
D5?
space.
What do you do? The first thing is you basically try to castle your king out of the center of the board if you can. But it's very slow, and this is where you have to strategize. And
Well, you have to not play the cow.
what you're doing, actually, let me
Play
go
the
back.
cow.
What you're trying to do is figure out where the pieces
put it.
belong.
They don't
and
belong
long
there.
term, what do you push this one?
The
Do
cow
you push
doesn't
this one?
belong.
It's not like
Belongs on
a
a
forced
farm.
sequence of moves, which is what tactics are generally. Tactics are
Photo
forced
shoot.
sequences.
Get some farmer who's a comp.
Like, this is a tactic, for example, right
Use
here.
his farm.
This G5 Queen H3. This is a
Don't
tactic.
play it for
Tactic
real.
slash puzzle, whatever you want to call it, where you lose the bishop on H4. If you could pick one past world champion, you could play a match. Who would it be? I don't know who would give me the toughest challenge, but there are two
Bobby
specific
Fischer, I'd
world
rather play.
champions that I would have loved to play. And everybody's 27.
It was
87, I think it was. I think Bobby Fischer's rating was 2787. And like that's like legitimately up there. Like that's like 1
Yeah.
point below my.
And thanks for proving my point again. How nice was Bobby Fischer? Yeah. Did he have people from all walks of life, preachers, businessmen, athletes, actors, wanting to hang out with him in between his conspiratorial rants and shit talking on women? Did the arbiters say, I get to work Bobby Fischer's match? We don't get yelled at or hit. The lights are on. And they have to be, Bobby. Not this time. There's a noise. I breathe, Bobby. Bah! Wasn't a stellar social butterfly. But you want to send America's number 2, whoever that was at the time, to get his ass handed to him by Spassky and embarrass us? No, you send the lunatic who can't shut up, can't really sit still unless he's beating someone's ass in chess, can't show up if he doesn't feel like it, but he's brilliant. I don't know if Hans Niemann is Bobby Fischer talented, but when you see the only it's hard to say because Magnus Carlsen is in this era, so not to discredit Carl or others. But the only one who's put American chess on the map by itself is a lunatic. And I guarantee you Hans Niemann is not worse than Bobby Fischer, especially after you tried to ruin his life a couple times. So why, when you have pictures of Bobby Fischer and there are videos of him yelling, and even at the World Chess Hall of Fame, which they do a great job, the museum's incredible, it's his interviews after he won on the talk show and stuff, and he's arrogant. He's arrogant. He's not crazy yet, or at least not on the surface. But he's not someone you go, that's who I want to marry my daughter. Even in those interviews. Then you ban Hans Niemann and you make his life hell? We just want someone who's stable, a little more agreeable to put American chess on the map for this generation. Do you? Well, I want the corporate life. 26 PTO days a year in climbing, my brand new home, weekends to go to the lake, leave at noon if I want to drive to Springfield, 2 hours, beat traffic and disc golf with my dad. But I also want risk, excitement. Yeah. No, I want the wife material girl. That's how I was raised. Yeah, I want that. But I don't want to have to tell her mom that I'm a fucking YouTuber who plays chess on the weekends. It doesn't happen. So why not let the chess speak? Let the chess speak. Always, always, even if it's annoying, even if it's loud. And don't wave a wand up his ass if you're not going to do it to other people. How again, going back to the insane comment that started that video, Hikaru's going to play one more candidate cycle, and I'm sure he probably could hang in there for one more, but he'll be too old. Even if he did it, it would kill him mentally. To compete at that level, at the very highest in classical time control, after he's done it for so long. So Hans Niemann is the only one, I mean, there's some other good Americans, but who's proven that he can probably play with tier 1 in a few years. Hans Niemann for America. Well, you're gonna bring in, see if Vishy Anand wants to loan us one of his super grandmasters and then stamp him as America and let them put an American flag around their back? That's not an American. No one's gonna get behind that. It's Hans Niemann or nothing. And you're making his life hell. It's amazing. Smart people cannot put that together. Now, Bobby Fischer was a lunatic. I don't really like Hans Niemann. All right, pretty good at chess. He's young. He's hungry. It's a good combination. sad.
Current rating, and it's what 50 years later.
And they're going.
So Bobby Fischer had such a high rating. I think a lot of people are really curious how good he was, because by rating he was probably as good, if not better, than all of us. Honestly, I would put 0% chance of White playing this Knight B1 move or Rook F1. White's probably going to lose the game here.
Those backward knight moves are tough. There are a lot of examples of that being one.
Why not cook Morphe? Because that just wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, Carter said in another one, Morphe's about a 2400.
That just wouldn't be challenging.
He's like a pretty good IM in today's time. If you just brought him here without the engines or without growing up like these guys did, 2400. I don't know. I
think of Porter for the 44. I think of Kevin Poker. I think of Fluxy. Oh, we're just watching this game because we're having some fun right now.
Like a rat.
St. Louis Shadow saying Hans is better than Bobby. Good one. Yeah. No, I would say if you look historically, Bobby Fischer,
and what he
in my opinion,
right
probably had the biggest gap between himself and everybody else. And this is as someone. This is like he was a really good player too. It's not like what's his name? I don't know who I was going to say, but I just feel like Fischer is a contemporary. Like he's somebody who could play against the top players today, and you don't feel like he would necessarily lose. That's the thing. Like you don't feel like Fischer would lose to us necessarily. And I feel like if you look at like Paul Morphy, he was really ahead of his time. But if he played any of us, he would lose. We have chess later on, you guys. We're playing Title Tuesday. Thank you, Frost Dyer, for the 100 bits. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, Frosty Dio with the great bits. I gotta show that. Thank you, SSM, for the 31 months. Sorry, I gotta play this. How do I play this? Do I not have the alert set for this one?
And then this is where.
No, I don't have it set. But anyway, thank you to Frost Dyer for the 100 bits. He writes, cheers, 100, hello. I'm a representative from Tyler One's management team. He sent me to tell you that you can no longer stream his games in 45 minutes, and the stream will take legal action. Thanks.
Ignore the threat.
Nice one, Frost Dyer. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good one. Good one. Okay. So let's see what we get here. White is much better, but the problem with the situation for both sides is Queen G2 is actually a very good move because now you can move the knight. Queen G2 is a very good move from Venator, and now you can move the knight backwards to B1 and D2 or D1 and F2. Thank you so much to Ad Cicadas for the 25 months anniversario. Muchas gracias or grazie. I don't know whether you're Spanish or Italian because that's both. But anyway, thank you. Thank you to Todd Higg for the 5 months. Thank you. Hikaru, I gained 400 points in the last month's 1,800. Now I'm able to beat 2,200 bots within 20 minutes of thinking. What bracket tournament rating should I join? I don't know where you are in the U.S. I would say that you should try to play a tournament with Queen F3 is a horrible move, of course. But Tyler's probably going to see this pawn and be afraid. He'll probably guard it, I would guess. Maybe not, though, because the knight is just, you see check, and if it's not mate. One thing we tell beginners is if you see a check, you check because it might be mate. But on the other hand, Tyler should just see it's just one check. It's just one check. It's not mate. So I think if you see that you have a square, you just take the horse immediately.
I can play chess in a wheelchair. Call me grandpa. Want to beat some kids' asses.
Shouldn't be hard to see. Let's go back to the other event. Let me change the scene, of course. Let's watch Tyler 1.
The next one,
Tyler is
Queen, right as
losing. Tyler lost to Venator. How did he lose this? Oh man, he lost this endgame. What? What?
The only way he loses this game. He lost this game.
Yeah, he loses this game. Unfortunate. Actually, why am I not following him? I thought I was just following him. Oh, we'll watch him because round 2 probably isn't starting for a bit in the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz. I thought I was following him. What? / follow big underline Tonka underline T. Okay.
You got command prompt concept here? You do that? Or does he program?
Okay. All right. Your pineapples are my dream. Thank you. I still don't know who this Tyler dude is and why I should care. He is a streamer from, I think, Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. He streams League of Legends a lot. Main thing is that for some reason, he's basically decided to stop streaming and he's decided to spend all his time playing chess. Did I unfollow? Yeah,
I would like to
I
get him.
have
They're
Saichub
big
and
from
Hans.
Missouri.
When you click on a game, it automatically
I would like
follows.
to get
So
him
like
to
the one I
list.
want to follow is
I'm
of
curious
course
about
Big
him.
Tonka T. It just means if they're
Might
online
have more
and playing
potential than
games.
me. If he can get to 96.
But yeah, Tyler
now, I
one is
wonder.
why is the eval bar so harsh in this opening? Because you guys don't understand 3,500 is not applicable. I mean, you just don't understand. It's like, I'll give you an example. If
Why
I
is it
went
playing
out to the
so big? It's a
baseball
better
field, if I went out to the baseball field and I don't know, there's some like, I don't know,
Good analogy.
who's a good pitcher right now? Like say like I'm a lefty, I'm not a righty, so like I'm a lefty pitcher. So who's a good left-handed
You're
pitcher
too old
right
to play
now? I
baseball.
actually don't even
Sorry.
know.
Nobody wants you.
I don't even know. I'm so old these days because like I grew up and like I was a big fan of Andy Pettitte. I grew up as a Yankees fan. Kershaw's a good one. I should have known
Very
that one
difficult.
actually.
It's
But
gonna be
Mariano Rivera is not a left-hand pitcher and he's not a starter. He's a closer. But like a good example is like, so if I go out to the baseball diamond and like Clayton Kershaw is there, for example, and I go out and I try to throw a curveball or I try to throw a fastball.
Be some ground
I'm gonna
balls,
throw it,
old
they're gonna laugh
man.
at me. They're gonna be like,
Be
"This
some
is so
ground
horrible."
balls.
But like at a very basic level, if I went and play, like
Feel
it
that
wouldn't
short hop.
matter. It wouldn't
Feel
matter
that short hop.
whatsoever. And it's the same thing
Come
in
on.
chess. It's the exact same thing. Like I could go and throw a basic
Okay,
curveball, and
I wanna
they'd laugh at me
I
because
wanna
at
go
their
play
level, it's
chess.
like
Too bad, we're playing baseball.
It was a horrible. It's like horrible.
I
But
was
it doesn't
supposed to play
matter
baseball. I
at the
didn't like
lower
it. I was
levels.
gonna
Like
play
as
chess.
long as you
I'm
can
good
get
at
the
it.
ball
Let's
to
do
the
it.
plate, if you're just playing casually in one of these like
Let's record
leagues
it,
or
too.
whatever,
All your followers can see how
you
bad
know,
you are at
it's just
baseball.
like it doesn't matter. And the same thing in chess. Like if you're playing at the high level, like you're looking at the computer part,
Your baseball
computer hates
pants
the
on.
opening because it's terrible at the
Baseball
top
hat.
level. This is not the top level. It's not top level chess. It's just completely different.
Well, at least you look like a player.
I could go on another rant, though, by the way. I'll go on one short rant, which is I saw that in pickleball, apparently the #1 pickleball player in the world lost to some tennis player or some golfer, I think it was, which sort of shows how pickleball is not a legitimate sport whatsoever. And I think people going and like buying into leagues or like buying
Pickleball is
teams
bad.
and hoping it's like the next big
Pickleball's
sport or
like
whatever
chess.
are completely brain dead.
But
All right.
No, that's it.
So anyway, back to the game. Tyler's a little bit worse now. Actually, his opponent's being hyper aggressive here with C5. This is the sort of stuff that'll be interesting to see how he calculates it. So obviously, White will take back.
I would hate losing to people
Yeah.
much less athletic than I am.
It's Rant Tuesday. Yeah, Rant Tuesday. Yeah.
Rants are fun.
Yeah.
Why not? Right?
Okay, now Queen C5 not best. Maybe it is best. The AB5 was maybe okay too, but let's see what happens because his opponent's being very aggressive here. Vita qualifier for Canis, yeah. Thank you so much to May 8 for 20 bucks. Igor Smirnov felt that tax pulls were a waste of time. He said basically you should study one GM and focus on thought processing. Your tax will get better naturally. Would you agree? No, I don't agree at all. Actually, I don't agree at all. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Okay, let me trying to think if I have a game in mind that I could pop up. Like the problem is that like if you're not above a certain level, you can't understand. So like let me give you.
What number?
No,
You're gonna throw a
it's
number
too
on it?
complicated to explain with like an actual game. So let me
You
just
can
let me
exclude me?
go back to watching. But
Yeah, we're having a
I would say
party.
it's not possible unless that GM is explaining what they're doing. So like it's like if you show me like if I show you guys some game, like you'll understand my thought process. But if you just look at a game, you're not good enough to understand the thought process. So it's like you need the driver. It's like you're in the car, but you're in the car and you see the car going each way, but there's no driver. So without the driver, you can't. It doesn't really work. It just doesn't work. I left chess for a couple of months, and I feel like I've lost a year's worth of progress. Well, that's the other unfortunate problem with chess. There is Title Tuesday at 5. That's the other actual big problem with chess is that like if you're not above a certain level, if you take even a little bit of time off, you lose 100 points. Just easily you lose it. Like if Tyler took a couple of months off the way XQC did, his rating would immediately go down to like 1,200. It's very, very brutal. It's very, very brutal. It's extremely tough. Did we just get another F? I don't think we did. No. Thank you to Raspy for the Prime. Appreciate it. Thank you. Inconvenient ad timing. Yeah, welcome to Twitch, you guys. There are ads on Twitch. I'm sorry. Okay, A3 is a funny move here from White. I'm curious to see what Tyler does here. This will say a lot about his. I want to see which move he comes up with because it's not an easy position to play. Like King E7 is the best move, not a very human move at this level. Knight D5 I think is much more human. Queen D5 also I could see, but I don't really know what he's going to do here. Why are you watching two moves playing? Because this is Tyler 1, the famous League of Legends streamer who, as I said, whoa, thank you to Velvet Canyon for the 5 gifted subs. Thanks for the Velvet Canyon. Appreciate it. watching this because basically is a famous League of Legends streamer. He's somebody who, for whatever reason, I said it, and like I'm saying it's somewhat in jest, but like he's decided he'd rather play chess 12 hours a day rather than make money streaming League of Legends. And so it's kind of fascinating to watch. It's kind of because it's so unusual on the one hand. 'Cause it's like there are a lot of people who get into chess for a short period of time to pog champs and those sorts of things, but they don't generally keep playing it. Like they're not psycho. But Tonka or Tyler apparently appears to be psycho, and he just keeps playing chess.
Yeah, why can't? Just
Oh,
give
Daniel
eyeballs or money?
Naroditsky got a 53-month gifted sub. Yeah.
Psychos,
Why does he just stream chess?
Psychos, why
I
don't you
think
wanna watch it?
probably because it's
You don't want to play chess with us, psychos?
It's not. Well,
Hey, you
what I mean by
lunatics will never get a
impossible is
date,
the
never have
problem with
friends, you're
streaming chess
psycho,
is that
just
there's
scare
so many
everybody.
backseaters.
Psycho.
Because in chess,
Who
like
wants
if
chess to
you're
be like
new to the
baseball? I don't
game, you're
understand.
starting. There are going to be a ton of backseaters
Go to a
who are
stadium,
going to tell you
go
like
on the
you're so
intercom,
bad,
play
you're
games.
blundering. It's very hard to deal with, actually. Very hard. Very hard to deal with. 94, a very good move here. By
What's
the way.
basketball?
He said he can only play chess from his mobile, so he can't stream chess.
That's interesting.
Huh?
That's interesting. That's interesting. Now there's gonna be a lot of that. I want to talk to Taiwan. I want to take his ass to dinner. Be blindfolded, literally, as long as he plays the cow. Actually, I probably wouldn't be able to play that blind. I can remember games blindfolded, and I think so. I played them. I replayed them backwards while I was learning. I wasn't sure if that would have any benefit, but it couldn't hurt. Just like dealing cards, like it's not chess, but especially carnival games are different. They're a little bit more complicated than blackjack. I'm counting, and it's always unpredictable because it's cards. I don't know what's coming out. Millions probably by now, hands of some type of table game. Blackjack, heads up, hold 'em. Those are the two main ones. High card flush. I raked for roulette quite a bit at my old casino, and 3-card poker are the other main ones. So like you're still counting. You're making quick decisions. Like you're training this. It has to be the same parts of the brain that are being worked. It's just not very hard because I'm conversing. I know how to deal with games. No one's trying to trick me. But yeah, I experienced that. Like you notice, I pull it on my iPhone, and for a pretty good stretch, I played Blitz on my iPhone, and I was a noticeably different player, even when all the variables were controlled. So if I was in my booth, if it was quiet, I was just a lot better on my iPhone in speed chess. Now rapid, not so much, but I don't know if that's because there's something about the iPhone being better for me in chess, or if it's just that I didn't play. And also when I was Uber driving and I would say even at my first casino, which I don't remember that much, it was midnight. I mean, it was the graveyard shift, and it's a long time ago. It's 2 years ago. I don't think chess.com, maybe on their back end, they can tell which device I played on. They should be able to trace that. But I probably played with some shorter time controls when I moved to St. Louis from August 2022 till I stopped to deal cards or stopped to Uber drive and play more chess over the board in early 2023 because I didn't have time. I only had 20 minutes. So I doubt I played a lot of rapid at work. I played a lot on my iPhone, a lot of Blitz chess on my iPhone, I would think, at the casino. So maybe I got comfortable doing that. But I never really played rapid on my iPhone until I was much better. And that's why I still like playing on my iPhone in speed chess. Even Blitz. Like I play Blitz on my computer because it's more fun for streams. No one really cares about online rating. It doesn't mean much in terms of one's ability. Like good players, if at the club they saw my YouTube content, please like and subscribe, guys and gals. But they would know, like, they're still about to beat my ass, even though, he's 2100 on Blitz and Bullet on chess.com. Everyone thinks he's cool, and Dayton tells jokes, and I'm more introverted. I'm pretty introverted too, actually. But I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't do all that. I don't like to put myself in the spotlight. So, but I'm twice as good as Dayton. I agree. But unfortunately, the internet's full of stupid heads. So they're going to think I'm better than you. Great news. Neither of us care what they think. We know online's a joke. But so, I mean, I tried to just get comfortable with Blitz on my computer. But the first time I got over 2000, I had to play 5 minutes because I was so much slower and I was so much less accurate. I switched to 5 minutes. But on my phone, I could play 3 minutes even before I got more comfortable like I am now. My first climb to 2000, I think 3 times. I think it could be 3 times, which I recall 3 notable times where I got close. And the third one being, I think that's when I got over 2000. But I guess like 1980 something. And I just downward spiraled and I got it back up and I got over 2000.
But at that time, I could only play 3 minutes well on my phone. And when I played on my laptop, I had to do it. I had to go 5 minutes. Trying to burn the apartment complex down. See what happens. So that might be something weird because me and Tyler both. I did a lot of testing, mobile testing. So, like my first. I mean, they were big boy jobs. I had internships. I had other pretty real jobs, but my first corporate and only corporate experience. When you're new, I didn't know shit about code. I definitely couldn't contribute ideas when it comes to the best ways systems can talk or roadmaps for projects. So then you test, right? Like you test and you do support calls, which is how you learn how systems work. Kind of like I talk about chess. Like this is the way you do it. Grandmasters can have their opinions. I'm not saying they're wrong, but if you want to get a beginner to where they're ready to talk to a grandmaster, where they could be your student, yeah, you're gonna want to do it how I just explained. Because I made all the stupid mistakes more recently than you have, and you probably most grandmasters probably work with someone who's really good from an early age. And with systems, it's the same way. Like you don't know what you're doing. Like everyone's different. There might be some methods that resonate with others more when learning something new. And you can read books and you can go to lectures and classes. No. Pick up the phone, troubleshoot a bug. Pick up the phone, listen to someone who doesn't know shit about tech. You learn how to talk to them. You learn what they're trying to say, which is not what comes out of their mouth because they're busy. And you also learn, if you want to do it well, which you should because they're paying you, okay, my goal is not to impress you like a lot of techies do. It's one of the reasons I was willing to risk it, which by risking it, I mean I wasn't just going to bow down to whatever they want without a request being put in writing. Then I'd do it. If I'm working for you or I'd quit. But you realize, and this is what managers should pay attention to also in tech, is who figures out that's the customer. The customer can go to the manager. Manager can eventually go to corporate in the operations hierarchy, and that's who controls our budget. If they don't like us, if they don't like our product, they don't like our service, we're laid off. So how fucking fast can I get you off the phone and get you to say close to what you mean? Close enough to where I think I can guess what you mean, because tech is pretty complicated. And in my head, while they're explaining what they see, I'm having to go through the systems. If there's certain programs that I know they're in, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. And then usually you pretty quickly rule out it's not the systems issue, it's the training issue, or like a temporary mess up. It's not like we did it wrong. And so you rule it out first, and you get a little checklist in your head, and you learn questions to ask, and you shorten it. And then, it's like you knew what I wanted, and I didn't. Yeah, you said it before. Yeah, that's what you do while you learn. And then through the support called hypercare period, before you turn it over to a fucking offshore team, it's not a problem anymore. Through support and testing, before you roll it out, you'll learn how it works, but you're not messing up the people who are already seasoned professionals. I forgot what I was saying about chess. I'll remember when I hear him. I've dealt for 7 hours, so.
So that probably means that he likes a really small board.
Oh yeah,
Probably likes
yeah. Why Tyler 1 might like the mobile, but on the computer, like you test everything. But my first assignments, I had to use my iPhone. So you have to bring your own device. You plug it into the company. So I'm sure they have a lot of control over your device, or you can at least check what you're into, because you basically let them hack you, let the company own you when you do the BYOD. But then you do the testing, because a lot of the apps, of course, are mobile at big companies these days. So you click and you shop. It's like Amazon shopping, but probably not as clean, because Amazon has a lot of money to throw at their goods for resale, and I worked on goods not for resale. Basically the only team probably that doesn't directly make the company money, which was a huge advantage because I got to learn more.
I just did that over and over when I was starting, just all those checkouts, all different, I just had lists. And sometimes they were, maybe I didn't do them all by myself. We had a team, but like hundreds of steps. And you're just executing those steps on a device over and fucking over. And, when they're designing it, it's not always completely perfect. So it's a step that's off. You have to highlight it or do whatever you're told and put in the comments what's wrong. And it's a fucking mess. But maybe I got comfortable with that. That's why I like the iPhone. I don't know why. It'd be interesting to get a bunch of adults to get about to my level, which is totally doable. And then see if they have those weird things too. Preferring the iPhone. Mainly.
Really small board on its phone versus the gigantic board on the browser, maybe.
I have another
But
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. The way you worded it is better there. Oh, not to mention, mostly at JCPenney. I got a job at JCPenney. It would have been my junior year of college. And you just kind of accept that, especially during the Black Friday rush. I forget what months I was there, but I'm pretty sure I hit Christmas and Thanksgiving. But I had a pretty light load. I'm pretty sure that was my first semester at Missouri State. So I wasn't in the hardest classes yet. I played fantasy football, read a lot of books. I was a weird type of nerd, I guess. If I weren't athletic, God knows what my social life would have been like growing up. And now, I'm pretty social, pretty well spoken and stuff. Wouldn't mind to get up in front of people. But I have to think if I wouldn't have been athletic or been forced down that road, I would never fucking wanted to talk to people. But I read most of the Malcolm Gladwell books. This is the first time at JCPenney's, from what I can remember, and of course it's been over a decade, or about a decade. And he became my favorite author. He might have newer books out now, but I read The Tipping Point, David and Goliath, Blink, Outliers, and I thought I read one more, but maybe not. Maybe I just listened to What the Dog Saw. I don't remember. But it should have been David and Goliath. I think that's when Gladwell was talking about dyslexia and how not a lot of entrepreneurs, but a disproportionate amount of entrepreneurs are dyslexic compared to the rest of society. And it talks about, getting good at things like asking questions because they're not really following or they don't want to, they get tired of people thinking they're stupid. So they find ways to, make friends with the smartest person in the class, etc. I'm pretty sure it was in this book. Gladwell, I don't think it was his study. I feel like he referenced the study. I haven't read this book in years, so I don't know where I can turn the page. But they made the print clearer, so not as, instead of black print, like clear, and they might have made it smaller. And at least for some fields, the subject actually performed better on the test. I'm not sure if it was math or what it was. Basically, his argument was it's not always good that they have to squint, but sometimes it is. Obviously, if you ask anyone, hey, you got about $100. Do you think you're going to grasp a paragraph written in size 30 font, typed, or would you prefer size 7 font, a drunk person wrote it in cursive with his or her non-dominant hand? Like, give me the shit I can see. But if it's the level of difficulty or the right type of subject, the argument is it can actually make you lose focus. If you have to look harder, you might understand the question better, or you might not just be going through the motions at a high level. And that I don't think Tyler 1 prefers the phone. I don't think I preferred the phone. Maybe in my case more so I did because it was circumstances I felt like, but maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really thought about it. Maybe it was circumstances, or maybe it wasn't. But Tyler 1 had a controlled environment. He wasn't playing at work or at the casino or in the car. He's playing in his house probably in his gaming setup that he's always used. And I doubt he felt more comfortable on either. I bet he saw better results on the iPhone. And when he saw better results, of course, he stuck with what was giving him better results. So the question then becomes, why was he getting better results? Not why did he prefer it? Because he probably didn't until he got better results. And I think it's a similar answer to what I tried to explain. When you're playing that many games, especially, and Tyler wasn't as deliberate as I was early on. A lot of times I was very deliberate. I would do, I wrote it down. Like I was trying to do things. I was doing 3 at a time. Then I was walking. I was doing 2. Then I'd call a friend. And sometimes I'd write that down. I wasn't just going like a madman like Tyler did, which is probably why I'm a lot better than he is now, in large part, aside from just superior talent. But I bet when you're playing that many games, it's too much for the human brain. And we're young, so we can do it. Maybe me and Tyler will both end up like Bobby Fischer. I don't know. But when you're playing that much, I think the smaller pieces and the smaller board on the iPhone forced him to maybe not use more brain power because he's tired. You can't play that many games. But it at least made him pay attention and not blow games. Whereas when you play that many on the computer, it's like, shit, just moving my hand. On the iPhone, I can't see what it is. I was about to make that move. I would have made it on the computer. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm glad I had to look so hard. That's a bishop, not a. Oh, shit. I haven't slept in 2 days. Oh, I think that's why he liked the iPhone. Not because it felt better.
Generally, the biggest problem with streaming chess is that there's so many people backseating that makes it very difficult. Yeah, Tonko is Tyler 1, yes. I have a job interview tomorrow. Do you have any tips? Just be confident, know your value, and show them that you're worth that value. Just if you're confident, good things will happen. Just be confident. Just be confident. If you're confident and if you think you're worth $1 million, everyone's going to feel that energy. It's going to be emanating from you. Like, just think you're worth $1 million and good things will happen. So waiting for a move here. I'm not really joking. Like, I think when you're confident, like, that means a lot. I think when you're confident, you emanate like confidence, good things happen generally. Like, if you make the boss think that you're special, you're impressive, you're confident, and everything else. Of course, trade the queen's, by the way, horrible from this guy's white. He apparently can't count that he's down a pawn here. Very, very bad decision to trade the queens. Goes bishop c4 here. Just be confident. No, I'm just saying if you're confident, good things tend to happen. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's foolproof. Okay, knight f4, bad move. G3 to hit the horse is a good move here from white. I know we'll get G3 at castles. Too much ego can be a bad thing. Agreed. We're watching Tyler 1.
Well, I
will say, actually,
what he said. But next question on that: why did you like the iPhone? Or the next test, I should say. And I would need to know if chess.com can see which device the game was being played on, because usually you don't just go iPhone to laptop; you go for stretches on either. But the test would be when he didn't play as many games in whatever period of time. There was lower volume. Did he perform better on his computer? I would expect the result would be it doesn't matter. The device doesn't matter. In fact, the laptop led to better performance if it was short, intense, frequent rests. If it was manic, just playing a ton of games, which Tyler 1 did a lot, I would expect the iPhone would then become better. One more point that makes me interesting. Tyler 1 washed up. I would recommend, if you're trying to get someone to, let's say, 2,000 as quick as possible, a little bit of structure at first. Instead of rapid like I did, I would play blitz, maybe even bullet, because you don't know what you're looking at. Just make a bunch of moves, don't run out of time, and then look at it with the engine. After that, very quick, bullet, just crazy session after you learn how the pieces move. You got to be pretty structured, pretty deliberate, really try to apply what you learn. But after you reach, it depends on the person, a certain rating, then you need to be alone and you need to be like I walk, you need to have your routines. You need to figure out your routines and be extremely deliberate. Then you might go crazy. Like Tyler 1 pretty much went crazy from the get-go. I think it's better. The only major mistake I'm sure I made is I played longer games when I was learning. But what I did right is I didn't start completely manic like Tyler did. But I did have that period where, I went to a few lectures at the club. I played some at the club, but I was just going fucking crazy, doing what Tyler did, but I was much better. I was in the, 13 to 1,700 range. I was just going crazy. Downward spiraling, fixing it, up all night, fixing it. After that, you'd have to return to a much more deliberate version of your practice than when you were learning after that initial speed chess phase. So speed chess, just go crazy. Look at it with the engine until you understand, very basic patterns. Know how the pieces move. Then pretty structured for a while. Then in the middle, go ape shit. And then return to much more structure and probably some classical time control. And so it's like a sandwich, like nuts, or like kind of structured, nuts, deliberate as fuck. And then I don't know. I've done a lot of crazy shit to overcome plateaus. Stood on my fucking hands. Just and it's not so much that it's like I even would sit there, clear the last game. I'm just swiping my shirt. I'm dusting it off. It's over. Just a lot of stuff to just more mental, like because it's online. So it's hard to get as into it. Whereas there's another human over the board, and you drove here, so you don't want to half-ass it. But you gotta do things with shut the door, closed in, open the door, even if I don't walk. Like I'm manic. I played too many games, but I did try to do enough to just psych my brain into a new session. But since reaching the level I'm at now, I've had way too many times where I'm worried about my dog. My dog is at my feet because I'm not taking her to daycare. At 30, I decided I was going to be more involved. That's my plan all along. I'm not taking her to daycare anymore. So I have Nova. I'm not really doing those as weird of things as I should be to maintain complete 100% energy and focus and having focus points for that matter. And so that's gonna be, I don't know how I'll do it, but just basically returning to deliberate practice times 200%. That will get me a lot higher because after that sandwich, I've really just been kind of just trying to get numbers like 2,100, 2,000. And now I've got a pretty good feel for my max, which I think is 2,200 in speed chess, 2,100 rapid online. And if I get super deliberate, that will overcome the plateau. I haven't hit one yet, but I know I can overcome at least one plateau without really even having to get help. One more plateau.
Actually, if you find a way to work chess into the conversation, that's probably a very good thing. Actually, no joke. If you can find a way to say that you're you love games, you love playing chess, that's probably gonna give you a leg up. No joke. Actually, if you're doing an interview and it's the boss of the company and say you play chess, that's probably gonna make them think that you're a genius and you're quite smart. Actually,
they don't always want that.
I'm not really joking when I say that. A lot of people assume that if you're good at chess, you're some kind of genius.
It's not his or her head.
Literally, a lot of people do think you're a genius.
Yeah, they're incorrect.
But what if they ask my rating? Okay, unless they play as well and look you up. No, but chess is the game that not all people, but I feel in business, probably 80% of people probably play chess casually. Even if it's very casual, they play or they know what they know about the prestige and all this stuff about all the gravitas and the prestige about chess. Legitimately, I do think so. I do think a huge chunk of people in business, like they've at least dabbled very casually and they know what chess is and they know it's like you're a genius and it's like this game of intellectuals, even though we all know that's false. But I do think it's true. I actually do believe that. These are just a Mehmet for the 4 months.
Pizza's in the booth. Good job.
Okay, Tyler's up a pawn here. Not a great position for his opponent, but he's doing well. Let me see what happened to the other games. In the Grand Chess Tour, we had
Wow, you're amazing.
Wesley So lost against Laquang. Sevian beat Nepo. Fabiano lost to Gucci Reza. We had a draw, and we have 1 game left. Let me just see what's happening here. Black has D's Knights as well as a Pyramid of Giza here. Probably going to be a draw, I guess. Probably. Well, let's move along. Let's get back to Tyler's game. Let's see what we have here. I'm playing Title Tuesday in about an hour and a half. Pretty soon, actually. I asked my boss if they play chess and if that helped them run their business. They just laughed and said their father owned the business. I see. No, I just mean if you can slip it into like a conversation, I think it's good. Like, if you just slip it in casually, don't say that you're like some chess genius and you play all the time, but you can just slip it in that you love playing chess every so often. If there's a way to slip that into the conversation, like, I think it's very good. Now, Tyler is winning here with the bishop versus knight and the extra pawn. The only problem that I would say at the lower level here is that Tyler's bishop can't touch anything because all the white pieces are on the opposite color here. Although Rook D2 is a very bad move. Because now you get to keep the bishop here, and you can maybe get lobster pincers. Like, Rook D8 is a very easy move to play, and I expect to play it right away. Because now you can't kick this bishop off this F3 square. It's glued here.
Hi, pretty puppy. You're beautiful.
Unless his opponent finds Rook E1 and Rook E3, he's going to win this game. But the other problem is that in this position, or not this position, but his rating, he's just kind of stuck in this range.
I really think I can get almost any of those streamers. Like Charlie, I'm not going to.
Since Tyler is kind of plateaued, how would you suggest he gets past 1400? Knight B1's a great move by his opponent. Wow, backwards knight move where he can take and hit the bishop. Great move from 1400. Did not expect to see that. Wow. Actually, I think first thing I would say is I think he's overdoing it. I think the first thing is like when you actually hit that hard plateau, you need to take like a day or two off.
Yeah,
not like
not
weeks
a
or
month.
months, because if you do that, of course, your rating goes down.
Yeah.
But just take a couple days
Right
off
on
and try to
the hard way.
reset first and foremost.
I'm going to talk once he's done explaining this point. It's important.
And I think beyond that, the biggest problem is that Tyler is like when you play like only one opening, your brain kind of gets stuck with certain structures, certain patterns, and you're not. So he's getting the same kind of positions, same kind of patterns over and over again. Nothing wrong with that, obviously. That's how you improve. But he's not seeing unique structures and patterns because he's always playing the same opening over and over again. I don't think it's temporary, you guys. I think he's basically he's at his plateau. I think he is at his. He's not going to improve much from where he's at right now unless he spends even more time doing things. I don't think it's an openings problem. I would not say it's about the openings. That's not the reason he's not improving. It's not the openings. Okay, Rook D8 is a terrible move. Nice. So now you go Rook D2 and you just win the game.
I know.
I'm giving Tyler one fuel to disprove me. Sure, I mean, maybe he'll be that 0.001%, like the only person in my entire life to somehow magically improve by 500 points from here. But again, I've never seen it happen, especially for an adult. For a kid, it's a much different story, but for an adult, it doesn't happen.
Shake my hand and call me
Kids,
Matt.
for whatever reason, can just they can just improve. Like you can never write off
For
kids.
disrespect,
You can never write them
I'm going to
off.
call you master. I'll call him grandmaster.
Now, I'm curious how he's going to improve this position. Because it's not one thing I have noticed is that his endgames don't seem particularly good. Adults are set in their ways. I mean, I guess you could say. I mean, I even now I still don't understand. Honestly, I still don't understand. Now there's A4 though, and I'm not so sure this is easy to win anymore. Rook E1, terrible move. Again, many ways. Rook D3 and Rook C2 both. Actually, Rook C2 wins because Rook D3, Rook E3 is not easy to win. I mean, kids are just like geniuses at learning anything. It's like the same thing as a language. I feel like kids at even 10 years old, they can pick up a language like this. Like, you know, if you have a kid and you have I don't know, you've got their grandparents or their grandparents are in, I don't know, France or something. If they go to France for 3 weeks, they probably can just pick up the language. But if I go to France tomorrow for 3 weeks, you better believe I'll pick up something, but I'm not gonna be anywhere near fluent in French. Rook C1 is mate, by the way. So Yeah, I don't know, but it's like I feel like as a kid, like you can pick up a language like clockwork as you get older. Like even in middle school,
I got a great counter. I'm going to treat that point, which is true, like a plateau. I'm going to approach this argument like I would recommending a chess plateau strategy. Okay. Learn things easier as a kid. Sure. Brain is much more flexible. Of course, you could argue time available to dedicate to deliberate practice is variable. So here's how you would overcome that. I'm not going to even go down the rabbit hole of, it's not the age or the talent, it's the opportunity to deploy deliberate practice, and the kids have to have more time. I'm not going to make that argument, though. It's a good one. It's not wise to just stop. I didn't work in tech until I was exposed to early 20s. All right, go be a manager. Fuck that. They get laid off. I don't want to do that. This is interesting. Look at all the lights and the letters and the colons and shit. I want to explain what a class. I don't want to be a manager. Function modules, methods. This is fun. It's weird. 0.001%. I wish I weren't this way. I pray to a God I don't believe in pretty often that I weren't this way. I am this way. So make the most of it. While my peers get laid off and replaced by AI. Anyway. So tech is a bunch of glorified if and else statements. Overcomplicated. It's a glorified if then else statements. And just like chess, after a certain level, they become so complex, but they're still just basically if then else statements. That it's a master. It's a different type of level. But 99% of that work is if then else statements that are pretty easy to learn. So my brain was far from fully developed in my early 20s, of course. And my first internship, I wasn't 21 because I couldn't go drink. So I'd probably just turned 20, actually. Sophomore, junior year, yeah. My birthday's March 7th, so I turned 21 about 3 months prior, or turned 20 about 3 months prior when I was deeply exposed, though I did some research before. And then, of course, I took that last year of college and I, looked at SAP YouTube videos a little bit and thought about what I saw, which was limited during my internships. And so basically you could say a little over 5 years, I was thinking about working in, listening to talks about systems in some capacity for at least 3.5 of those years, plus the internship, so let's say 4. And then during my college senior year, I was, refreshing my notes because I knew I was going to go work. So 5 years before my brain was developed. And there's some studies that show that the male brain is not fully developed until 30, though I don't know that there's enough evidence to support it's that late. Unfortunately, I didn't play chess during that time. I didn't know how the pieces moved. So it's not as good as playing chess. But what from my time in systems, or if you played quarterback in football, had a lot of decision trees and time crunch, you don't want to get a delay of game, anything that's relatable. What's relatable? Well, I memorized decks of cards like a motherfucker in college. And I don't think I started that till my senior year either. But I think I was memorizing 2 decks of cards in college. And I used it for my tests. I realized I wasn't going to be, summa cum laude smart at Missouri State. So I'm like, yeah, all right. If I'm not on track for cum laude, I'll try. But if it's clear I'm not going to make cum laude, fuck it. Give me a 3.0 or a 2.9. I ended up with like a 3.3 something, I think. Oh, you busted your ass and you got a 3.8? You're still nobody in the scheme of ranks. You're not valedictorian. You're not salutatorian. You're not you're just summa cum laude. Business school. I played basketball. I've had a decent time, so no one cares. Got my piece of paper, right? And I would memorize decks of cards. So if I had to remember a list of things, like I remember Alan Mulally, I think we did a paper and maybe a test on Ford when he took over and kind of sort of saved Ford when it was failing. Alan Mulally might have been the ace of clubs because Alan is A in my mind, and clubs, he was good luck. So, and then another term or another concept, I would memorize cards however long I needed, either for the full list or for things I was struggling to remember, and I would just associate them with a card. So instead of having to remember the whole concept or the whole sentence or the whole term, I would just memorize my cards in sequence. And as soon as I got the test, I'm sure the teacher, which I can see his face, I can't remember his name. What's his fucking name? But he probably saw my papers when he was grading them, and I would At first, I tried to erase it, and then I'm like, it's more suspicious if I'm erasing this, so I'll just leave it. Like if it was, 5 of clubs, 4 of spades, 7 of hearts, ace, spades, ace, diamonds, etc., like 13 of them. It's like, if you're a teacher, you've never seen this before. Okay, but now it's erased. So what is he doing? Is he cheating? How could he cheat? He didn't have the test. He didn't have the paper. So I'm just suspicious of him now and everything he does because he wrote down half a deck of cards and then he erased it. I can see it. So I just started leaving them clearly legible in pencil. I'm like, ask me. I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I'm not getting the best grade in the class. I do this because I want the B. I want the B minus. It's a class I think it's going to be kind of hard. It's B minus is cool. I'm going to bust my ass. If I can get an A in it, I got my A's. That way I could allow myself for 1C. And accounting and statistics usually. Those are kind of my plan. I don't fuck with D's, though. I don't fuck with D's. Not a bum. but yeah, so I would just leave it in my cards. And I didn't have to remember much. People are trying to remember every word of every sentence. I'm like, how does this prepare you for life, first of all? Second of all, I'm showing up 5 minutes before the fucking exam. I usually have my cards sequence planned in my what I call a memory palace of how I was going to remember them. And I studied memory palaces for memory champions, which is how I got that idea. But sometimes I didn't party a lot. But if I went to a party or there was a cute girl in my business fraternity, and I want to see her dancing and shit, see if she's not fucking around with frat boys, she might be relationship material. Not many were. Yeah, I would just go have some drinks, and I'd be kind of drunk. And I'd show up for my exam for the non-harder classes. And about 5-10 minutes before the exam, I would get my deck of cards. And I was like, fuck, that's an A. That'll work. Oh, it's good enough. And the first thing I would do while everyone's, doing their multiple choice, I would go to the written part because those were the big points. Like if you can get the written part and then just fuck around on the multiple choice and guess, you'll get a C. And then if you know the multiple choice, which I paid attention and took notes, then you nail the written, you just do pretty good on the multiple choice, you're getting at least a B. So I would go straight to the written at the back, and I would just write my cards that I just memorized on the rare occasion I was drunk. And I took med, I took some, they were antidepressants mainly, but some other shit. Probably didn't need all of them, but I'm pretty weird, so you learn to cope with life as you get older, I guess, and have some perspective. My life's not so bad in the scheme of things, so I don't take meds now. But meds, alcohol, don't do it, kids. Still, I was smart enough. I would show up fucked up, pop a stimulant, and then I would just write my cards, or I would get my cards memorized and I would just write it. And then as soon as I got my card sequence for whatever I was trying to remember, I knew that if I have the Jack of Clubs and I've already associated it for that exam with something, I don't fucking forget it. Google Memory Palaces, it's very effective. It's what the best in the world use to memorize thousands and thousands of digits of pi, cards in order, everything. It branches off of Memory Palace. So I was never too drunk or too tired or too whatever to forget my childhood neighborhood I grew up in, right? So how would you remember that if you don't feel good or like you didn't study? I don't know. I'm just walking around my neighborhood and the mailbox is something. And just like when I was walking my dog Allie when I was a kid in Nixa, Missouri, we would have certain places because I was young and I was training for football and stuff. So I would run to a certain point and sometimes I'd sprint light poles. So once I got to my neighborhood pool, like that might have been a part of my memory palace, and we would stop and I'd pet Allie. And then I put, Allie is the ace of something, and I'm associating person, object, action is what they do, though I found it better to use 5 at a time instead of 3. And so I don't have to do much. I'm walking around. That's my friend Ryan's house. So then after I put Allie up, which is another stop in my house, shower where my room was in my old house. It's another memory palace stop. And then I go see Ryan. And then we go play football with Dusty. And then later I go to Zach's house. And I remember Zach had a golden lab or something. It was Labradoodle lab. And so I'm saying hi to I would associate things in my day-to-day life that when I was a kid, it was so real to me. Like you couldn't deprive me of sleep, put me on drugs to where I couldn't remember everything about that neighborhood. And I have a lot of memory palaces, schools and everything else. Branson Landing, where I stayed during lockdown. So that way I can memorize deck of cards for fun. Talk about a psycho. I think it's cool if I meet someone, if I found a girl that was marriage material I would test her in this manner. I memorized deck of cards for her on the second day, not the first day. I don't want to fucking scare her. And she says, "What the fuck's wrong with you? You just memorized a deck of cards? 2 decks? You didn't let me finish. Deck number 2. Deck number 2. God, I thought we were going to have sex. Well, would you have sex with someone who can't memorize 2 decks of cards? What did he just say? I love you. Yeah, okay, now I know. Like, if that's what you're into. I like to memorize cards, and date number 2, there it is. I'm not lying to you. Well, this guy just tried to fuck me, and he just told me whatever I wanted to hear. Nope. He just did. So I had a lot of memory palaces. That way I had a lot of decks. One Albert Pujols was the 5 of clubs. Like, that way it just comes. But my point is, most of those memory palaces are from when I was a kid, because it was more flexible. I really think I remember my childhood neighborhood better than if I moved to a house in St. Louis and I live and die here. I think I'll remember everything about it, every tree, every fucking, bridge at the pond, where me and my friends played airsoft wars out in the back. They might have built houses there by now. I don't know, by the bowling alley. Like, everything about that area. I was just young. We rode 4-wheelers. I can tell you everything about it. And sometimes house addresses. And I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. To Hakaru's point about the adaptability of the child brain versus adult. But when I was a kid, I can tell you everything. So that brings me to, what can I extract from my child brain? Is it as good as being a child learning something? Of course not. Taking the memory palace concept to tech, though there's, of course, a lot of memory things I probably learned when I was studying them that might apply to chess. In tech, you analyze a ticket based on an urgency and priority basis. So it could be urgent. This is the most obvious example that I've actually used in chess, because I would get my ass kicked. Like, I was hanging in there with much better players. I don't remember what rating, but one of my snapping moments was a 1900. Like, I think I had white, so I wasn't beat from the get-go, of course, and I was playing good. And then there's just a sequence that happened that I was under attack, and it went from like even to I'm down like 11 or 11 pawns, the equivalent. I'm fucking done. Like, what happened? And then, of course, now I look back, like, that was easy. But to band-aid that until I could get better and see more things, because that's a pretty experienced player. I just started in the longer time controls when I had time to really just sit there for 7 minutes, 15 minutes even. I would take the position, and if there was a cluster, I could see pretty clearly, like, those minor pieces are going to work together to attack me. Or if they did, how would they do it? And I might not have saw the attack, but I got pretty good at saying it's 3 moves away, or let's say it's 3 to 4 moves away. So now I know it's that urgent. Let's say I deem that a 2 urgency, 1 being the highest, 4 being the lowest. One urgency being I can't make a move until I deal with this. 2 urgency being I can look and I counterattack. I might can get away with some shit before I deal with this issue. Okay, now what's the priority? How fucking dangerous is it going to be? Checkmate? Am I going to lose my bishop? Am I going to lose space? What am I going to lose here? And so, whereas chess players and kids who are learning, which is how you should, of course, approach chess the right way, actually playing chess, they're saying this bishop and this knight and this pawn structure means this and this, and I'm saying that's a 2, that's a 4. I look over there, that's a 1, that's a 3. And until they broke apart, which Hikaru mentioned the backwards knight move, at his level, it fucking changes a lot. Until really even my level now, it's not like they're finding like those where Hikaru goes that 1,400 pound the backwards knight move. It's not happening a lot. Like, I'm not having to just flip the whole fucking game and all my priorities and urgencies on its head. Almost never. In the longer time control, even if they change the whole position, they probably messed everything up if they're redirecting things. They've screwed themselves. So we don't do that very often at my level. So it became good enough, not ideal, not as good as had I learned as a kid to actually defend threats. But it became fine to at least keep me in games, which had many benefits. Even if I didn't win, I saw the game go longer. I was able to study more notations because I didn't get checkmated. But I got good enough. I don't really do it anymore, but I haven't played classical in a while. I might do it forever. I don't know. But if I can get, say, that rook, that bishop, and the queen, I see they might be able to work together. And you're not, when you get better, of course, you can kind of see the moves, ideally in the line. But I got pretty good at saying that's how urgent it is, and that's how deadly it could be. Because I got good at that when I was a kid. And so I'm extracting the flexibility of my child brain or as much as I can, and using it in chess. Everyone's experience is different. I don't know how to play League of Legends. I don't fuck with video games. I played a little bit of Call of Duty Zombies as a kid, Miss Pac-Man, but I'm not a gamer. I think it's fucking stupid. I like to shoot zombies in the head, but other than that, it's just all a joke. It's all ridiculous. Why would anyone want to do anything besides shoot people's heads off? That's all I do, or did when I was a kid. So if League of Legends has parallels to chess, I don't know. I don't know how to play it. But Tyler One would be wise to analyze every fucking component of League of Legends and say, I got good at this. I don't know when he started playing. I'm assuming he's one of the best in the world, so probably pretty young. Okay. Why would I be trying to match this chess concept before first thinking, are there any League of Legends concepts that are similar enough to use? And then it's almost as good as had you learned chess as a kid or whatever you're trying to learn. So that's why, in order, I think a systems engineer of some sort, someone who worked with code and how systems talk, that's the first. You're looking for transferable skills. It's not, did you play chess or not? Did she play chess or not? It's what skills or what jobs might have developed the same parts of the human brain that are also beneficial for chess players. I'm no expert on the human brain. I read Daniel Ammon's book, who was the founder of the SPEC scan, I think. That's been a long time ago. Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. And I kind of stopped after I wanted to understand the brain because I don't know if he's a good person or not. I don't know if he's a salesman, but I know he knows the brain. So I read enough of that to understand like what different parts of the brain do, but I don't really know what. You can look at chess players. I guarantee you chess players, certain parts of their brain are larger than the rest of the population. Certain parts have stronger connections. Like you can look at all that now. It's amazing. And I would argue almost never are they born with that as much as their brain becomes that way over time. That the connections get stronger. Certain parts that might be responsible for spatial. I forget what the part of the brain is, like spatial awareness and stuff. Like their brains are actually changing over the course of their chess play. And so what other careers would change those parts of the brain? Of course, they don't know how to play chess yet, but they have more potential because of what prior training was done. Dealing cards, like I said, counting. It's always new. It's always somebody thinking a different amount of time. Like I think it's similar parts of the brain. So what fields would train the parts of the brain the best without really going in depth and researching? I think systems. Then I would say quarterback or middle linebacker, where you're calling all the plays. You're remembering much more than the average person. You have to know everyone's responsibility. You have a clock. You're reacting. You're trying to disguise blitzes. You're trying to bluff, essentially. And I think that would be the next best thing. And third, I would say poker player. Any of those three, and you get them into chess, I think all other things being equal, they have a lot more potential. But I do know that if you're going to build an adult grandmaster, which I really wish it wouldn't have been COVID and I would have got into it. Like I would have been the second in this study, which I'll get good enough to where like there'll be investors that don't even play chess, like performance psychologists that want to do studies on the next people and see if you can get a grandmaster. Because if you can make a person a grandmaster as an adult, what does that disprove? What else have we been lying to ourselves about? Or what else should science look back and say, we should test this now with new tools and computers as advanced as they are. But I'm 30 now. I'm not saying like Susan Polar thinks a 30-year-old could start from scratch and become a grandmaster. So I'm not saying it's impossible. She knows more than me. But I guarantee there's not a lot of people that echo her belief in that. And she's assuming they're going to train like she did as a kid. And I'm not saying I would mind to. I still feel good. And, I've got, 5 to 10 years in my physical and mental prime still. But I'm saying I'd rather see a fucking 25-year-old do it and go have a family maybe, have a few more dogs, travel, play chess for fun. I'd like to play with prisoners. Like, I don't know that I want to do that shit, even if I were capable. But step one would not be, any puzzles or teaching how the chess pieces move, how fast they're picking up chess. Step one would be, what the fuck did you do before your brain was fully developed? Scanning the brain to see which parts are a certain size and anything you can see about how fast connections are firing. I think they're probably neurons. I don't know. But it wouldn't be chess related. It would be, what have you done before? And it wouldn't be, this is how I train chess athletes. This is how, I think Susan Polgar was at Webster. This is how I turned, Liam Lay into, from a grandmaster into one of the best, or Wesley So from a grandmaster to super grandmaster. No. It's Wesley So, Lay, Magnus. All they're in a different category. That's one of the reasons I'm hesitant to ever, like, assuming I get to 1800, that's when people would be interested. So I didn't play as a kid. 1800 is when they go from he's getting better to fuck. How young is he? How many more years does he have? 1800 already, and he's just been fucking around on his own. We'll take him. That's the kind of the number. But I really don't know that it's beneficial because everything that I think will be necessary to compete with people who have been playing since they were birth, like Julian Perleco, people like that. If I ever were to be paired with someone of that caliber, and Julian will always beat me more times than not, no matter what I do, because I think he's like 27, 26 maybe. And he's one of the best in Missouri. But if I were to ever have a chance with a player of that caliber, I would want to watch him. I would want him to explain what he's doing. I would not necessarily think it'd be beneficial for Julian to try to impose his techniques, training strategies, methods, how he thinks on me. If anything, I could tell him, like, my life experience, anything that I think I could, try to use to mimic what he's doing. But then it's up to me to figure it out because Julian played when he was 7 and 10 and 13. And he spent the type of time that I haven't been able to dedicate as an adult during those years. So instead of trying to train or have someone like that train me that knows what he's doing with chess players, and it's the best way to train kids, don't get me wrong, it's work with Julian. The best way for an adult would be going back through all the notes and systems in my case and trying to extract familiar experiences from childhood and then use them. I'm sure of that. That's step one.
School or high school when you're trying to learn, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. Why is it not automatically popping it up? Very, very weird. I thought following meant the game automatically pops up. It doesn't?
Everybody should just be on.
Yeah, see, like, this is an example where his opponent actually knows what he's doing. Like, this is where his opponent knows what he's doing, and he's going to get into trouble very quickly. His opponent is pushing key on one side. When you play openings like bringing knights out, they're fine as long as your opponent doesn't push the pawns on the edge to harass the horses. If your opponent pushes on either side to harass the horses, it's very, very hard to play.
That's why it's so stupid to give many attention.
It's very hard to play.
Because even when I was at that level, which I got there.
Who is Big Tonka? This is Tyler One, the famous League of Legends streamer who also used to stream on Twitch. He doesn't seem to stream all that much.
I think I would have wrecked him when we were
it's Tyler One.
I would have watched enough videos of Lily Rosamond and etc. and both those sisters to know little things like, I'm going to tear you up for doing that. I know how to punish you.
So, all right.
And
anyway, let's keep going.
Didn't know how to do that.
OMG eCard, your rating on chess.com. It's decent. It's not great, but it'll do. Okay, so he played A4, wasted a tempo. The problem now is black has multiple pushes in the center of the board. There's C5, C4, E5, E4, EF4. I mean, very, very bad position. Can he reach 2,000? I don't think 2,000 is realistic. I think if Tyler was like 16 or 17, I think it's possible, but he's a legit adult. So I don't think it's realistic. We get knight B3, and now the question is C5 and E5. E5 is actually back to about 5, but there's C5, B5 also not a bad move necessarily. Best way to study and understand tactics. Actually, I'll tell you guys the best way to study tactics. The best way to study tactics is to click on. Actually, let me change the scene. Let me change the scene to one that just shows it. Where is it? Yeah, best way to do it is to click on puzzles and click on puzzles. This is to click on puzzles. This is the best way to do it. And when you click on puzzles, like this is not a straightforward one. When you do Puzzle Rush, it's nonsense. Puzzle Rush is just for like looking cool on Twitch or Kick or wherever you're streaming. But do the actual puzzles and puzzles. This is what you need. Or no, you can't see because my cam. Lovely, my cam's in the way. Yeah, you need to click on puzzles and puzzles. This is what you need to do. All right, let's go back. Too weird. Let's watch the game. Tyler you said he was winning, but Queen C2 and he's actually in trouble. Wow, he misses Queen takes C2. Bizarre. Need a Henry Sugar for the 39 months. Oh, I'm thinking of the other Z word, which is Zeitnut or Zeitnaut or something.
You're wrong.
There's Zeitnut, right?
Yeah.
There's Zeitnut. That means time pressure.
Oh, good God, she's good.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's Zwischenschug, there's Zugzwang, and there's Zeitnut. Or Zeitnut, or however you pronounce it.
Yes, elbow.
Zeitnut, yeah.
Shake. Great job.
Zeitnut, Zwischenschug, Zugzwang, yeah. Zeitgeist? No, Zeitgeist is something else, you guys.
Yeah,
Zeitgeist means something
Don't
else.
fuck with Zeitgeist. That's a messy
Okay.
movie for a young person.
Fabiano lost in round 2 is underway, so let me change the scene.
I don't care if
Let's
my-
go back to Tyler's
Sam,
game.
I hope it's not.
Tyler's probably going to win this game, by the
This
way.
is what I was talking about there.
There's Queen C1.
Tyler blunders the queen.
Of course you go check.
Nicara laughs about it because he was calling out that, of course, you can't do that. And then
I mean, how do you not check here? Well, you see check, you play check, because it could always be checkmate. That's what we tell beginners.
you go on beginner.
I mean, you go check, of course, and take the pawn. Like check here, and take. I don't know why he's thinking. Queen C1 is the only move you should ever consider here. Just go for mate. Title Tuesday is in an hour 11. Yeah, he plays Queen C1. He'll probably block with a bishop. So if you block with the queen, you do hang the pawn on B2. But I could see him just blocking with the bishop, thinking like there's no way to stop anything. He blocks with a bishop. I kind of am not surprised. There's knight G4, which wins here, by the way. But I expect queen F4 or queen E3 probably. Yeah, that's what I expected, queen E3. The problem is after H3, I don't actually know how black mates or how black even creates pressure at this level.
At this level.
No, he'll play H3. There's like 0, or he'll play H3.
He didn't say
I'd be
that
shocked if he doesn't play H3.
but he just knows how much better he is than these people.
I mean, it's a very basic tactic.
There's just no way to. There's nothing we can do.
But let's see what happens here. Webster University offers a degree in chess. I don't actually know, but H3 is like very basic. I'll assume that he's going to play. Let's do guess the move or whatever.
For you non-grandmasters.
Yeah, I mean H3 is not. I mean it's like the only move you can even play.
The sprint is lost.
Queen A4, I mean, it's more that black has weaknesses. You need to get the bishop to F3 to coordinate first. Get the bishop to F3 and then consolidate. I mean, it still should be a draw at this level. Well, not this level, in perfect play. But I assume that Tyler will win just because his king is safer and black doesn't have any squares for knight. I mean, it's all about who has the plans at this level. It's not about anything else. It's just like the knight can't go anywhere. So with the knight not able to go anywhere, only a queen. I mean, it's kind of hard to go for checks or even go H. I mean, like H5, H4 is an easy draw with the yo-yo check. But I don't expect it to happen. Yeah, I don't expect it to happen. If he plays H5, H4, I'd be pretty surprised. Tyler is 2 minutes, not crazy on time.
I rule this house. Plant-based litter? Seriously?
New Arm & Hammer Plant Power Litter. A highly absorbent grain formula that quickly clumps for powerful odor control.
Where's my cat? Meet the cat.
Cagnus would win this no matter who the opponent is. No, he would not. If he had the white pieces, he might win this. Maybe. But I think after H5, I don't think he would win this either. Was I invited to Sinkfield Cup? I mean, I could have played if I wanted to, but of course, I have my job as a streamer. Like, I don't make this stuff up. Everybody assumes I'm just like, I'm pretending when I say that I'm a streamer first, but I am. I make a living streaming. That's how I make my living.
Newcomer psychopath.
I play chess tournaments for fun.
Well, I used to.
Which probably is why I do so
told me I'm
well.
a psychopath.
Jokes aside.
I'm an insane
We
psychopath.
get queen E3, good move here, actually. I like
Very
queen
good
E3 at this level. But now there's check. Actually, wait, now there's a check. See, the problem for actually white here is that black can't do anything with the horse. So checking is very common. It's like, hey, thanks so much. It's DK for the 23-month resub. There's actually a straightforward draw, by the way, because queen F4, king G1 check. There's a tricky tactic here with knight takes E4 and a pin, but I don't think it'll happen. I think we'll probably get a draw here. Unless Tyler actually tries to block with the queen, but I don't think he will.
Nicara has a good voice for commentary. I don't know.
Did I watch a ChessBro video on GM earnings? Yes, I did. Knight D7 is a horrible move, by the way.
I'm just gonna do a lot of
Horrible move. I mean, it just hangs a free pawn for no reason. But if white doesn't take on F7, white will probably lose the game because black will get a bastion.
Share this word.
But yeah, very bad. Thank you so much, Lacanos, for the 14 months. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's like super obvious. Like, It's not even tactic. It's just a pawn hanging. It's the most basic thing that you look for. Let's see. Can he go knight f6? Knight f6 is the only chance to survive. I don't think he will. He'll probably go knight e5, thinking he's forking and miss the check and lose the game. Yeah, I mean, knight d7 was the worst move in the position, other than hanging it.
Yeah. So black. I was wrong.
Oh my god, this is why I can't watch these games. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I can't watch these games. Insane. Yeah. I'm going to lose brain cells if I watch those games much more. So, yeah.
I go walk my dog. I'm going to play chess, and oh shit, I might get 6 hours sleep. 7. I get 6 hours. That's good. Good for me. Okay, a few things. First of all, let's look at that. I forget his name. Memory champion. The guy I studied when got me into the memorization stuff in college. I think his grandma had Alzheimer's, and he was kind of too old. He was a good example for what we're talking about. I think he was kind of older than most memory champions start, which I'm assuming the best in the world that memorize tens of thousands of digits and numbers, shapes, everything in between, speed cards. I'd say they probably started really young. And they have a window in their mid-20s where they're the best they'll ever be. But this guy, I think, was in med school, and then I think one of his grandparents got Alzheimer's. I'm pretty sure his grandma. And so that motivated him to see if he could do things to help the brain, because it was so hard watching his, I think, grandma deal with Alzheimer's. He ended up becoming the world champion. Of course, going back to relevant experience, bro was smart enough to be in med school, memorizing a lot of stuff for his tests, I'm sure. So it wasn't like he was just an idiot that figured out how to memorize tens of thousands of digits and stuff. But he didn't train until close to adulthood. Is it Alex Mullen? I think I would know his face, right? It's Alex Mullen. Alex Mullen, that sounds right, actually. Was he a med school student? That doesn't look like him, actually. Nah, I don't think so. I feel like he was... What years? So 2016, after college, Mullen enrolled in medical, so that might be him, and began applying memory techniques to his studies. 2016, so that would have been my senior year. That's probably right then. I thought his grandma had dementia or Alzheimer's. I'm almost positive he did, or she did. There was some memory champion that got into it, at least in part, because I'm pretty sure his grandma was struggling with Alzheimer's, and it broke his heart. That's not him, though. Damn it. It's been a decade, so. Yeah, this is beautiful. Let's listen to this, actually. Fascinating stuff. And these are also things where if you didn't do this, you didn't have these techniques, you would have no chance. Techniques. You see which
Once took me hours, now takes minutes.
Check this out. This is Memory Palace.
Hi guys, I'm
I don't think
Alex.
that's him.
I'm a competitive memorizer. I'm the world memory champion,
Competitive
and I'm ranked
memorizer.
number 2 in the world, number 1 in the US. And I just want to give you this basic
Two in the
video
world,
tutorial series to kind of get you started using memory techniques for learning. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is something called the Memory Palace. So what is a Memory Palace? Well, it's going to be the foundation for most of the memory techniques that we're going to be using.
Foundation for most
The
memories.
basic idea is that our spatial memories are naturally much stronger than our memories for, say, words or numbers. So think for a second. If you imagine your house, right? Where are your scissors? Where do you keep your shoes? Where do you keep your Christmas decorations? So you can remember those things without even thinking about it, because your natural spatial memory is very strong. So you're probably already subconsciously using a version of this technique already. So for instance, when you're thinking of your notes and you're thinking, okay, I can kind of, see it. It was in the top left part of the page there.
My dad can do
That's
this.
just because your spatial memory is
He's
very
never
strong.
tried.
You're using your spatial memory. And so what memory techniques, in particular the memory palace technique, are going to allow us to do is really harness the strength of our spatial memories. Okay, so let's say we have a set of information that we want to memorize. What we're going to do is imagine that information as images and then mentally place those images into different physical locations. So I call those physical locations loci. So one would be a locus, multiple are loci. So then what we're going to do is mentally return to those loci to recall the information. Okay, so what is a memory palace? Well, a memory palace is a collection of these physical loci that we're going to string together and then see in our mind's eye. So I think you'll find this technique comes very naturally to you, mainly because it's in essence something you've been doing already.
Yeah. And that's a high level. You can get pretty crazy with it. That's the foundation. Attacks are the foundation for chess. Memory palace is the foundation for memorizing chess. And the most amazing thing, this is almost as amazing. Like the hardest thing to do in sports, maybe the world, is to hit a baseball. Not joking. It's harder than chess. It's. I mean, every sport has its things that are more difficult and aspects that aren't so difficult. But overall, hitting a baseball, when you watch a behind the plate game, even if you don't play, if you grew up in chess clubs, you never watch baseball, you don't like baseball. I don't sport, bro. It's go sit behind the backstop at a baseball game, at the Cardinals game, any professional level game, and just watch how much that ball moves. And think about how little time the batter has to decide if it's a ball, strike, identify what type of pitch it is, where it's going to go. The count has to factor in. It's amazing. And of course, how many sports where if your success rate is these days, you can hit for some power. You hit 230 and you'll be in the league for 10 years. 230 with a good amount of home runs. That's less than a 1 in 4 success rate. That's how hard hitting a baseball is. That's how much it's moving. It's incredible. And then I think you have chess. Like people say golf. I don't know. Golf's hard. The ball's not fucking swirling and going every direction. It's on a tee. And then chess is hard. But man, memorizing. Watch this. Watch this guy memorize. I don't know if he still holds the world record. Last I checked, I think it was like 11 point something seconds to memorize one deck of cards. This is amazing. Speed deck card mem record. It's 12. Is it 12? I guess so. And this is a combination of a special brain. I'm sure he was introduced at a young age.
Hello and welcome to
This
How
is
to Play the
maybe the
Card
most
Game
incredible.
Speed.
It's right up there with I like pretty amazing. I don't remember what pitch it was. I think it was a changeup. It was nasty. It was out of the zone. This is right up. This
Play
is
for
hard.
the Card Game Speed. And then we'll get into more details of the game.
No, that's
The video will finish.
that. I want to see the record holder. What's his name? What's it say his name is? Shishir. That sounds right. Let's see it. Memorize a full deck of cards shuffled in less than 13 seconds. This is stupid. This is amazing. I haven't studied the guy. This guy should get it. This guy should be getting attacked by women before he even makes it to the bathroom. Like he should be getting. I mean, I don't rape is a bad word, but like, you hear rappers like Tech 9 videos. I'm a rapper. I could snatch her, and she will leave with me because of my stature. Now everybody move, everybody bounce. You're about to pounce. Look at that. One in the bottle of call. Like all women, tall women, small women. You got to let techniques teach you chakra. When your lover said taking you as a brother, she trying to say that I rushed her, then crushed her. Handcuff your hoe, get filthy, must make more dough.
we will be shaking your love. Come against me, that's a no. Yo, because I can smell your woman's rosy on the dance floor all the way in VIP.
And Tech Nine's good. But ladies, not that. I listen to arguments about America going to crap because like you should attack this deck of card memorizer the way you would a very high status rapper. He should be just as attractive to supermodels as Tech Nine, Nelly, Bo Burnham, Justin Herbert, etc. This deck of card memorizer, right up there with quarterbacks, actors, millionaires, Tom Brady. This is absurd. It's amazing. I kind of want his number, and I'm not gay. Like I'm in a movie theater. On Netflix, on AMC. Look, and this is cool. You got two in the back. Let's go one by one. Just she's one of the best in the world. Look at her. I'm memorizing the world right now. Watch this. Snail behind him. That's right. No way. Give me him. Take his shirt off. Take his shirt off. I want to have his babies. I want to have his babies right now. Jennifer, you can't have him. Sarah, I will rip your hair out for him. I'll divorce my husband. Becky, who asked you? He's mine. He's mine. He's mine. You got kids. Kids will be crying in the background. That's all right. He's got earphones. He's got earphones, right? I want him. I want him. No, those want quarterback. Star player. America getting so fucked up. You get to keep shooting people. Ladies, you're incentivizing the wrong behavior. This is what you want. This is what I want. I wouldn't mind if a girl just like memorized. Oh man, that's amazing. If you think that's amazing, or you think I'm being nerdy or childish right now, then go memorize a deck of cards in 12 minutes. 12 minutes is really good. That's so I haven't heard his interviews or anything. I don't know. I would love to hear him talk about I think that Alex covered.
How many are you big?
They usually do groups of 3, and they call it person, object, action, POA. So, like the first part of the sequence, it's okay though. The first part of the palace might have a person, object, action, like it's predetermined. And it's how fast they're not memorizing the cards. They're decoding them or encoding them, I guess, as fast as they possibly can into those predetermined buckets. So you'll have 51 divided by 3, you'll have 17 POAs, from my understanding. I don't do it this way. This is maybe why I'm much slower. You'll have 17 groups of 3 that you associate that way. And then you just memorize. Damn, I'm a mess. Then you just memorize the last one. That's what most do that I read about. So 17 groups of 3, 17 locations, probably in their memory palace. Person, object, action. Steph Curry, 3 is spades. He's 30, so 3 ball, 3 spades. That's Steph Curry. Done. 3 spades. It goes to like that type of concept. I haven't done it in years, and I never did it that way. But I know that's the best way to do it. Is person, object, action. Is what most do. It just didn't work for me, and it didn't work for my purposes because I didn't need to do it fast. I just needed to do it right for my college exams. It didn't matter. No one had a stopwatch.
So I did groups of 5. So I guess 10 groups of 5, and then 2. I'd memorize the last 2 if I was doing it to try to do it fast. But I never really needed 52 cards for anything in school. But good gosh, like it's just how fast he was able to associate those 3 clusters into his memory palace 17 times. And then the 1 card, of course, anyone can remember 1 card. That's 12.74 seconds. During COVID, I got back into memorization. And of course, I took a break. I don't know that I memorized any. I can't remember. I don't remember ever memorizing cards for fun in Arkansas. Maybe I did. I probably did during my internships in the hotel because I wasn't, especially my first one, I wasn't of age to go out to Dixon Street and drink. And I was bored because all my friends were going out. Maybe I memorized some cards that summer, 2015. But the other one, I could go out and stuff on the weekend, so I probably didn't do anything. And then, well, no, because I wasn't, I guess, I don't think I memorized it in my junior year, so I wouldn't even been messing with it, right? Probably not. Yeah. So I guess I would have gone from, since I didn't do it during my internships, I don't think I used it to study my junior year. I was at Aspen doing it. I remember having my cards spread out at Aspen. I don't remember doing it at Chan's house. Probably not. Okay, so my senior year, and then my 4 years in Arkansas, I doubt I ever really messed with cards. I never would have had a reason to, because I feel like I ruled out the possibility of cards helping me with tech because it was new concepts. It wasn't memorizing things. I was having to learn new tech concepts, and there was never a stopwatch either, like college exams. I mean, that kind of time and stuff. I probably never used cards in Arkansas. So probably 2016 to start of 2017, which is when I graduated, May 2017, until COVID lockdown. I doubt I memorized any cards. I don't remember doing it. So it's, a little over 3 years, because I was in my Ozark house when I was doing it mostly. When I was getting pretty good in college, I feel like I memorized 2 decks of cards total at the same time. Meaning I could just go through it. I wouldn't have to revisit my memory palace or what each one was associated with. Pretty sure I got to where I could do 2 cards in my head. And these guys, I mean, I'm not bragging. Like, these guys do 10 decks, and they memorize them faster than I can memorize one. It's really absurd. There's speed memorization, and I think there's multiple decks. There's different types of card memorization categories. Because when I was doing it, and when you memorize your first deck of cards, I'm sending videos to my family and then a few of my weirder friends. Like, hey, I memorized cards, and some of them were like, that's kind of crazy. But most of them I probably didn't even share with because they were drinking and seeing if they could get pretty girls drunk before the girls woke up and realized, they're probably out of our, at least not my league, because I was fucking memorizing cards. And I asked a few girls if they want to memorize cards with me, and they treated me like I guess Hikaru's comment about being a psychopath. I'm so done. These guys just keep trying to get in my pants, and I'm here to have fun. College is a fun time. It's a fun period of my life. Like, I'm gonna have my husband, and I'm gonna love him forever. But sex with the same guy over and over and over forever, it's what I want. It's what I want. Don't get me wrong. I want that. But like not now. I want to get this phase out so I can enjoy the sex with the same guy forever. Like, who wants to have some fun? And hey, I'm 21. I can buy you beer. My parents are rich. You want to go to their lake house? Man, I'm Missouri State's quarterback. I have 1 deck. If you could bring the other one, I'll memorize them both. How interesting. I got all dressed up for this, and he's just going to go into the party and see if I want to memorize cards. If you're not comfortable going back to my bedroom, we can do it at your place. You want to come to my place and memorize cards? I'm a hot college girl on her 21st birthday. It's fuck finals Friday. Like, what? I kind of want to, but no, my friends. Hey, what's he doing? Hey, wing woman need to swoop in and save you? Is this the signal? Is he creepy? Yeah. But I don't know. He's cute. I'm not going to do it. You don't want to go memorize cards? We can do it in the living room if you want. Oh, he's really genuine. He just wants to memorize cards with me. He's not even trying to go back anywhere private. He just likes cards. Yeah, I'd bring him, but people would laugh at me. So I was hoping maybe the homeowner would loan me some. Yeah. That's how I was in college. When I knew it wasn't the best approach. It wasn't always that, cardy with my pickup lines. Sometimes I was. I was looking for my fucking wife. Get access to a lot more women in college and stuff. Sophomore, junior, probably hasn't dealt with as many assholes. I don't risk any unplanned pregnancies with women I don't love. Maybe that'd be cool. So we go with the card pickup lines, and no one told me yes. When I hit on girls with the card pickup lines, I memorized some cards. Even ones I had mutual friends with, they laughed, thought I was joking, flirted with me. One tried to kiss me, and that's just not what I was into at that moment. Not like I was questioning my sexuality. Like, she didn't want to memorize cards and hurt my feelings, so kiss somebody else. That's why I don't go to parties. I came here for you, and you're fucking it all up. And that led me to half drunk memorizing cards for fun on the weekends. But I didn't drive drunk, and I got my piece of paper. College was successful. But ladies, that should be hot, what that guy just did. Like I said, I think I remember the fastest I did probably in college, it was like 30 minutes. I think I broke 30 minutes. And 2 decks of cards, it's not worth timing. When you're not fast, who cares? For sure, I broke 30 minutes. And then during COVID, I remember timing myself. I want to say I was in the 40-minute range consistently. But what I was doing 5, and I wasn't doing person object action. Like, I was just grouping them in 5s any way I could possibly do it. Like, if it was a person, like Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala, Steph Curry saying, "Andre, you're old, but I need you to come back. There's 9 and 3 again." And Steph Curry's unlucky, so I have a club involved. Or Steph Curry's beating Andre Iguodala over the head. I don't remember at this point, but those two were in one of my memory files. Steph Curry is at the Branson Landing on the river, and Andre Iguodala is saying, I'm out, and Steph Curry is, get back on the boat, you're not retiring, I'm still young. And at that time, that was when the Golden State Warriors were at their heyday. It sounds funny. That's how these guys fucking do it. Did you not just see him memorize a deck of cards in 12 seconds? That's how they do it. And it's not so much about being smarter or memorizing, kind of like in chess. It's about how creative can you be with your techniques to peg them or associate those cards quickly into your memory palace. It's where Hikaru was saying most people think chess players are just geniuses, but they know there are techniques. Chess is one game that they're good at, just like memory. Like, I'm not saying they're not smart. That guy probably isn't the smartest in the world, though, IQ-wise. He's really good at associating those cards with something quickly, which people on the outside looking in would just say, that's a special brain. I'm starting to question that with chess. My mom always says, Dayton, your brain's different. People don't just learn chess in adulthood. And I fought back, but I'm fighting back less and less. She might be right. Their brains might be different. There's one dude, and I won't get personal because I never want to make anyone uncomfortable or tell a story I shouldn't. But he tried to gambit on me, and part of it was I was lower rated. I think this was the Saturday I went 3 for 3. I think it was board 1. I had the black pieces before I took my break. And he was much better than me. But I feel like he came off a draw or something, so he wasn't super happy. And I had an advantage. Maybe I had the black pieces. But he tried some gambit. So if he tried to gambit, maybe he had the white pieces. He was dictating the situation. I have to look. But he messed, like the gambit. Gambits don't usually work if played against properly. Like, they're a gambit for a reason. You don't want to give away pawns or anything. And I just thought through it. I played it right. And he ended up without a pawn, without the compensation he'd hoped for, which I'd seen the gambit. So I'm like, kind of have an idea of what he's trying to do. Messed up the gambit. He's probably not used to someone at that level thinking through it right and defending it. Or I guess just playing it right, not really defending. So messed up the gambit. But he's still totally fine. It's early in the game. He's down a pawn. I have control, but it's a full chess game. But he just melted down. Like, he was done. he was a kid, so he'll work through that. But it's a smart kid. Smart kid. He's already at a pretty decent level, and I don't know that he was playing as much as some kids play. But to watch him, realize he's at a disadvantage now, and not correct his behavior. So okay, I can still, like, even if he plays well, if I play well, which I was not as good as him at that time. He's about as good as I am now by rating, probably, maybe a little bit better. No, it's probably I think he was like so close to 1,600. Or, either way, he should have won, and he thought he was going to win, and then he messed up the gambit. And the dude just couldn't handle it at that stage in his life. Like, he was done trying, and it was weird watching him. It wasn't like it was a 90-minute game. Like, dude, just try for 45 minutes, just draw me. You don't want to lose the rating points. But since the gambit didn't work that he thought was going to work against a player of my caliber, because it usually probably did, and maybe he doesn't try it unless he's pretty confident he's going to trick the opponent. It wasn't like most people were say, it didn't work out. Let's play. Or not. I don't know. Shit happens. It was this gambit had to work, and the gambit didn't work. And I beat his ass. It wasn't even close. But it's because he shut down. So that's an example of, like, at that stage in his life, he's not ready yet emotionally. But when he's my age, he could be very good. There's a lot more potential because his brain is so obsessive. And I can't imagine that's not an inherited trait. Like geniuses aren't born, they're made. Yeah, to some extent. But he wasn't old enough. He wasn't a little kid, probably early high school maybe. But he wasn't old enough for me to say, like, he learned to behave that way. Autism is a genetic condition. I mean, I might be on the spectrum it's hard to judge because you didn't know me as a kid and stuff, and I played sports, so I was very socialized. But I looked forward to going and memorizing decks of cards while my friends were trying to get laid. I thought it was very fun. I enjoyed playing piano when my friends were at the bonfire. If that night they didn't want the guitars out and stuff, I'm like, I don't really want to be here. They all came over. It's gonna be loud till 4 a.m. anyway. Why don't you just come out? Like, yeah, I'm out here. But, like, I want to play guitars. If I do that alone, at least I can get better that way. I ended up being decent on the guitar. And when I got a chance to do competitive speaking, mainly through Toastmasters, that's probably the best region in America. I mean, Northwest Arkansas has JB Hunt, Tyson, Walmart. They're good. And I got to learn and I asked questions, and the guy's name was Rodney. He was the best one in that region. And I learned from him. And most young people, I think they were suspicious. Like, he's taking this as a joke. The judges are older Toastmasters lifers, so like, we can't give him good grades because he's just a young punk. Like, no, I'm trying to fucking figure out how Rodney's speaking so well. In the impromptu section, it's like he planned it, but it's not scripted. I want to know how Rodney's doing this. And of course, Rodney has techniques, and he might be genetically inclined to give better speeches. I don't know. But he developed his talent if he had it. He's a damn good speaker. And so I really tried to be friends with Rodney, even though he was probably 40 and I was 23 at the time. And people who aren't on the spectrum don't really do that. And if they do that, it's forced. It's to please a boss. It's to get a certificate. I completed Six Sigma. Look at my certificate. Look, everybody clap for me. It's on my desk next to my MBA. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck Rodney's doing. And I hope my boss doesn't find out because she might think I'm weird. It wasn't ever. I hope Carol gives me credit. Sometimes I didn't even tell her I was going on the weekends and doing those competitions. And we had a good relationship until, things change. It's SAG. She's good. It's taught me everything I know about systems, but really, really nice person. But she involved my mom and stuff, and I don't care what the conditions are. All she had to do was transfer me at the same time, and beside the point. Taught me everything I know. But during lockdown, I would see like her face in our one-on-ones, working me through a concept that I ended up, in my opinion, mastering with systems. And she knew I was good. I don't know that she knew how good I was with not so much code, but understanding systems, proposing solutions. Until COVID, because it was quiet, I wasn't nervous. There wasn't any noise in our one-on-ones. I wasn't coming from, social, meeting where there's Hindi being spoken. I was literally alone, and I'm very calm. And I think that surprised her, and she felt like she wasn't going to get credit for my progress. And also, she had brought in a lot of people on
that H1B, so it would make her look bad. I didn't know it. All she had to do was tell me. But it was sad because she taught me everything I know. And like I said, she's a good person. But after I just sold my house and stuff in the hotel, I was doing my speaking drills, some I did with Carol or for Carol for her to give feedback. Then I would just cry. I think I'm fake or not. Because I would see her giving me feedback, and then the feedback I implemented, I'm like, God damn it. And there's so many stories of young people growing up and maybe outshining their boss in promotions, or even not, but still having a good relationship. Or it started with me and then ended up in operations. And, you know, I had a family and stuff. Maybe I could have been the CEO, but it was cool to see someone that didn't take that route in life and had the opportunity when he was younger to travel. And pretty cool that my intern became, you know, the CTO. And I thought she would be that type of person in my life. But unfortunately, I trusted her too much. Anyone but her, I would have read the cues and I would have known. And she had a son that I knew a little bit about. So especially as a mom, like at worst, she would transfer me. She would never do that to me. Even in the corporate world where you got to prove you're in control and stuff, she would never do that to me. And so I just saw her face and saw her one-on-ones and during lockdown, and I just wanted to stop speaking, but I kept doing it. And I applied for a job with Amazon, and I thought about going back to tech, and I just saw, you know, big reason I didn't. But like, until I did all those speaking drills and stuff, and I would say, if you watch my chess videos, at moments where it's really intense, or you would see a lot of, you know, kind of autistic traits, more so than when I'm speaking or dealing cards. But even then, if someone like were to surprise me or yell at me, or I feel like they're trying to take a shot at me, which happens every now and then, hey, it's a bad beat, right? Bad beat payout. I'm like, it's a push. Well, we have the same straight. I'm like, what is that? I get very upset and I have to control myself because you're trying to take advantage of me, which is a human thing. But and most people just say, it's a job. I'm like, there's no need to do that. You know what a bad beat payout is, and isn't? As do I. Oh, I just don't get it. I'm like, yeah, you do. I've dealt to you before. Oh, okay. Well, what didn't you tell me? Like, you're trying to get me to mess up because then you know you can take a shot. And I just start fucking going crazy. And I just want to hit the table. And there's sometimes I'm like, I'm going to have to call and ask for a break, but I never have. But it makes me, it's ridiculous. And I think about it for days. I don't think if someone's on accident, you know, says I paid them wrong and I didn't, or if I did when I was newer, nothing bothers me. It's when they try to take it. It's when they say, like the same straight should pay a bad beat payout, because it's usually better, but it's definitely better than nothing. But no, a push means you don't get paid on any of it, but I don't take it. So it's better to lose basically than sometimes push because you get a bad beat payout, and they know that. But it hurts my feelings a lot, and I start just I'm a different person for the rest of the day sometimes. But overall, through my speaking, I've learned to make better eye contact and not use as many filler words. I said things like that too much when I started public speaking. And I sat in front of a mirror. I sat with a stopwatch on the weekends while my friends were drinking, watching football, with a stopwatch, doing my impromptu drills until it became more natural. And so I don't know, maybe my brain is different, and I just beat it out as much as one could through sports. I was always in hotels, so I learned how to act, had to talk to people a lot, and then I did speaking. My brain might just be different. My mom might be right. But I do know I need to win because I'm just now getting back toward my peak over the board. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm being different. Look at my online games. Shit, I can't stop until I figure it out. And that's not so much learned behavior. But yeah, I'm back up to whatever I said, 1506. My peak is 1550. So I'll have a good over the board event today, which I usually plan on playing 2 games. I might stream in between. Play the first round, take the second round off, see if the Grandmaster's busy. I think it's Dinesh Boros now. So I'll shoot shit with him for like 30 minutes or until a kid gets done with his or her game. And then round 3, I'll finish it, drive home in silence. If I can get 2 wins today, that should put me right back to my peak.
And like Hikaru Nakamura said about taking breaks last point, perfect example. I took that break to get readjusted to dealing cards again. Sleep schedule, a few new games. Now I'm super comfortable with all the routines, where to clock in. But chess is not a game you want to go to stressed or thinking about other things. So in March, so I had that Saturday rated. This is, I think I finished first in. Yeah, who did I beat? So I got me at 15-14. What was it? It was 13. No, that wasn't it. That was a different time then, because that's definitely not what I'm thinking of. That was a different time. So I had that good event, though. And I had some luck. Like that guy, that's the one I got my tournaments mixed up. Brandon's the guy. He was actually winning, I think, that tournament. So this guy had a draw. I think he was disappointed in it. I think he was winning, if I remember right, and he ended up drawing. So he's kind of bummed. And then he played a really bad game. He actually had my queen trapped, which it would still been playable because I would have got 2 of his pieces and maybe more. But it would have been over with good play had he done the right thing. And then he just got smoked. Just handed me the game. So I got 15-14, and that was 1395. But I lost. I shouldn't have played in that. I played in under 1800, and I played a guy with black who didn't have a firm rating yet, but he had pretty good online numbers. After the tournament, I think he was up closer to 1400, or at least 1300. But he wasn't rated high. He was like 1100 that day. Had the black pieces. I think I had the black pieces, and he beat my ass. And I just dropped out of the tournament. I was so pissed because I'm like, you should just play in the open section. That way, you get good competition. There's some under 1800s that play up. But then I lost that game. I'm just like, I'm done. And there weren't. I think I was the highest rated in that event. So I'm like, there's only like 7 people maybe, and I was one of the highest rated in the under 1800. I was pissed because then I was gonna have to go to the bottom of the bracket and just risk my rate even more of my rating while I was tired and mad. So I dropped out. But overall, you can see, I guess I bounced around in the high 1300s, but I was 1456. I was, in the low to mid 1400s mostly for a long time. But then I had that bad event. It took me down to 1395 again, and then I got back to where I should be, and I had a good March 9th. Which would be 50-50. But then I took that break from March to June to get adjusted to work, and I played online, and I just figured it would be good for my brain. But like Hikaru said, don't take like months, because I felt awful. I think I lost the same guy the first 2 back. Yeah, it was Lucas, wasn't it? No, it wasn't Lucas. It was Broderick. That's who it was. Yeah, I mean, so he's an above 1700 rated player. And it looks like he's getting back into it. He told me a story. I like just stories. Wasn't it the same dude? Lost to 1 now. Okay, so I'm losing it. So I lost after my break, and these guys have probably been playing consistently. I lost to 1600 something. Then I lost to Broderick, who's, I think he ended up closer to 1800 after his rating stabilized. And but they're not unbeatable players, and I didn't really make the game close. And then I lost to 4, which was a high rated, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I think that's the second one to Broderick. And there's this kid, which he beat me before, and I beat him. But he was like 1400 a little before my break. So they're figuring it out. People I was beating, I'm working while they're kids. And not all these are kids, by the way. My brother's not a kid. But they're figuring it out because they're playing all the damn time. And I was all over them before I think I got all those reps while I was Uber driving and working. Okay, so there was those 3. And they also have faster time control, so I didn't. Yeah, 15. So I lost to Broderick again. That was. And I was planning to just play 1 game until I got back into it. But I probably should have just went for volume. I'm not sharp anyway. So that's the one. Win versus 4. Win versus 3, right. And I lost to 1. No, that was my March 9th. Those were March 9th. I lost to 3. Yeah, I gave that one away. But I was feeling a little bit better at this point. But that's still a 1,600 player. So I didn't really have any bad losses. But the difference was, like, even that Finn guy that beat me in the final round at board 1 on March 9th, I was on him, and he's a good player. He's probably 1,800 now, I would say. But he was 1,700 or early 1,700s probably at that point. But I there were many times against players of that caliber, or slightly better, or slightly worse, I mean, than Finn, where it was a very different feel of the game. I could tell, not just from their face necessarily, but how the game was going, the amount of time they were thinking. My moves were better, even when they were looking back at the engine, when they were getting advantages. It was not so easy for them, and they were much higher rated players. Before my break, I was getting there, and then like Finn's about the same caliber as Broderick. And Finn's taking a little more serious. I think he's got more time. Maybe some parents with money to dedicate. I have no idea. But unlike with Finn, I mean, I blew it at the end. I made some bad missteps with pawns that just gave him the game. But up until then, I was all over him. And with Broderick and a few of these others, they're just sloppy from the get-go. Even with the time control I'm not familiar with. So now I'm just giving all my rating back. Yeah, so he beat me. I did kind of blow that game, though. And the last one, was it? Which one did I just click on? So now I'm 1473. Now I beat 24. Who was 24? Yeah, so a newer player that I deserve because I'm not winning. Jonathan, yes, that's a pretty solid player. I had black, and then I had white against 9. So I mean, they're fine players. It's to 11. Yeah, that was just painful. Yeah, see, but now he's in the 1300s, so yeah, I mean, I can't be losing that game. And Philip got a knight in my territory because he had the white pieces, so it happens. And I refused to trade it. I just figured leave a bunch of pieces on the board. I'd have a lot of options to complicate it later. But you can't just obviously worsen your position. And then I just ended up, I couldn't get the knight out. I was pissed. And that was, you know things if you study it at all. It's one thing to know things and one thing to be punished severely enough to where you start doing the right things or taking it seriously. And like I would never consider in the shorter time control or that early in the game, like prioritizing or looking at the attacks like a system ticket, like urgency and priority, but maybe I should have. It's like there's a knight there. It's too early. And then anyone can beat me if they got a knight right there. And they start piling on pieces like that. What is that? The Octopus game by Garry Kasparov. It was a world championship game where it's just, what the fuck do I do? Doesn't matter. It's pretty clear what's happening. It's pretty clear I can't do shit about it. And Philip beat me. But still, I mean, improving quickly. Probably better than whatever the rating was during the day, 1267. And then, of course, I won the next 2 games because I'm closer to 1,600 than I am 1,400. So win versus 12. And which he's directing to, but still, you lost her to me, and then 1,700. Yep. And then I got him, which he's up higher. He's getting closer to 1,600. And I played a pretty good game with black. It wasn't even close, which he kind of melted down. But still, it's a good player, and he's getting better fast. So now I'm feeling. I mean, it took me, what is that, a month and a week to even get back to where I'm playing at my level and giving the people a run when I'm losing. If I'm losing, I'm at least making them work. To me over a month. And then you're getting better too. Like I bet that person's improving. I feel like I play a lot of people when they're lower rated. They're not really lower rated. They're not really that low rated. Oh shit, maybe so. Give you over to 1372. Looks like a bad event. And they're just inconsistent. They're not really bad. Like a lot of times at 1300, that's kind of the cutoff where consistency could very well be the issue. It was for me. Under 1300, they're probably just not very good. Yeah, consistency is a problem, but you can pretty much count on them never, even for one game, being very scary to a 1500. At 1300, they might be 1500 for a couple game stretch. They just haven't figured out how to be consistent yet. And I'd say that's true of Lindsay. And that got me back up to 1484. And then last, because I was at the Mizzou game, I only played one. And I played him, which he's 1485, around there. So, yeah. She didn't play anymore. 1477. And now if I have a good event, I'll be back to my peak. But it took me from, let's just say July. So July, August, a month and a half to really even feel like myself at all again. Granted, most of these games are 26 minutes, which is much shorter than what I played most of my over-the-board career, aside from latter weekends. But I would say if you take a break longer than a month, it's going to take about that long to recover and be back close to normal. However long the break you take when you get past whatever Carr said, a week, 2 weeks. Take anything longer than that, it's going to take about that long to get back to feeling good. So we'll see how I do today. I'm going to start documenting my chess in a more formal way. Not so entertaining because I just don't have the energy. I'm getting better to where I can't do fun dances and music, and I'm also older, so it's not as socially acceptable. But got the 2100. Felt like doing a little bit of a reaction video to Hikaru to celebrate. And my big goal, I want to be 1800 over the board, but that's just like the minimum. Like I know any adult could do that. Even if he or she has a family who's working, you could get there within time. But 2,000 seems to be Hikaru's number. 2,000 over the board, and 2,300 at the higher end, 2,400 on mine. He didn't say time control. That's where he says just not possible. Do whatever you want. Any training ideas, any amount of time, do whatever you want. And we'll get to 1,800. We'll see if it's worth it. The hardest thing to realize as you grow up is it's not that people don't care or they're mean, but like if I died tomorrow, it's not like Hikaru Nakamura is gonna, miss his game. My friends would be kind of sad for a day, and they're going back to their shit. I don't even know him, so you don't want to try to prove people wrong just because they said something that they didn't even mean to be mean. But I think I want to do it, and until I don't, I'll keep showing up.